Coming up, Ty from Comeuppance is on, and we will be looking at two films. We're looking at the Bruce Willis film Detective Knight Redemption. So it's the second in the 3 Detective Knight films that he did right at the end there of when he was making movies. So we'll be looking at that film. Also, the Daniel Zirilli film Invincible, which has Marko Zaror and Johnny Strong, which I only knew of Johnny Strong before this as, Roads Closed Pizza Boy from Fast and the Furious. So it was interesting to see more of him. So yeah, those will be the two films that we'll be discussing. Next week, we're continuing the DTVC Extra series, looking at Blood Fist 3 and Blood Fist 4. Special guest John Cross from After Movie Diner and Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures. So, as we know, usually DTVC Extra, to this point, right, it's been a solo thing. And the main reason why it's a solo thing isn't because of like some sort of rule I had, but more because I wanted to have the podcast go every week, but I couldn't keep up with booking guests every week. So when I posted the Facebook post, or posted the Facebook post. When I made my Facebook post about the Blood Fist 1 and 2 episode, John was like, "Hey, I'd love to come on and talk 3 and 4 with you." So like, hey, absolutely, why not? So yeah, so that'll be good. We'll be chatting about that. So we're scheduled to record this week for that one. I don't know, the future if we'll have more guests for the DTVC Extra. I'm gonna try for it, but. It's one of those things where, again, just me, I did a horrible job of booking guests really for the past month or two. So I'm kind of trying to get back into the, into the swing of that, of just reaching out to people. Hey, do you want to be on the show? All that kind of stuff. And I got to get kind of better at that piece there. Because, it is possible that I could do it once a week with guests if I was just more on top of reaching out to people and getting a hold of people and saying hey, come on, do it. There are times too where I have a ton of but I have multiple episodes in the can, and I've thought about being instead of letting these sit, I could do them once a week. But then it's that fear of using them up quickly because, again, of what happened there where I wasn't reaching out to people like I should have been, and I needed episodes, right? So sometimes it's better to stretch those out. I know one instance of that was when Ty from Comeuppance was on. He did 2 episodes back to back. Ty, we did a couple right in a row, and then I had Tom Joliffe on to talk Cypher, and I was like, okay, well, why don't I hold off on this episode from Ty? I could have done 3 weeks straight of just Ty, Tom, Ty, like that, Tom, Ty, Tom, Ty, Tom, Ty, whatever. But yeah, I could have done that, but I decided to stretch them out, and then what it meant was by the time that episode posted, right, it was almost a month after we'd recorded it, that second one with Ty, and then he came back on again, so it was almost back to back with him anyway. So. It's one of those things, still trying to get the hang of that part of it, of, deciding to push this to a once-a-week podcast, as opposed to every other week with the DTVC extras, with the solo episodes. It's something that I wanted to do. I wanted it to be a once-a-week podcast, and I think to that point, it's working. Yes, the solo ones don't do as well as the ones with guests, so that's the goal, but it feels like the ones with guests do better, now that I'm doing it once a week. So I don't know, we'll see. But anyway, so it'll be exciting for next week that we will have scheduled to have John on to look at Blood Fist 3 and 4, and then scheduled to also record with Mitch, the Video Vacuum, this week for an episode on Steven Seagal's Deadly Crossing, a True Justice, True Justice movie. Does that sound right? It's where he took those episodes, right, and he put them into movie. I say he, like it was Seagal's fault. I don't know that it was all Seagal's decision, but it sounds like it. That instead of releasing True Justice as DVD sets, right, with all the episodes, he released them as two episode movies, and this is one of the 2 episodes movies that we were looking at. So that episode will come in 2 weeks, and then of course the week after that will be Blood Fist 5 and 6. So we're kind of making our way through Blood Fist pretty quickly there. All right. In terms of the site, I had originally planned to do the Art Camacho film Chinatown Connection this weekend and get him into the 50 Club. I think between the movies that I've had to watch for the podcast episodes that I'm recording, not just my own podcast, but episodes that I'm guests on, I think I'm going to take a break on that one and post a movie that I've already seen. It's already in the can. So probably The Courier, Olga Kurylenko. Need to get more Olga Kurylenko on the site anyway. That one's a little bit more fresh in my mind. Of course, there was the episode that I did with Will from Exploding Helicopter where we looked at 2 films from Kurylenko. It was a little while ago, but the movie itself is fresh enough in my mind that I can review it now. So that's probably what's going to be coming this weekend. And then hopefully we'll get to the Art Camacho one the week after that. But, again, if I'm behind, with it being Thanksgiving weekend, it could go either way with that kind of thing where I might have all the time in the world to watch movies, or I might be busy with all kinds of stuff and not have any time. So I can't, you never know either way on that, which is also a good reason why I'm recording podcast episodes this week, so that next week we'll have everything ready to go for Thanksgiving week. So that's pretty much that with the site. Big news, of course, for me is novels. My newest novel, Don's House in the Mountains. It is live on Kindle. Looks like it's live on paperback. I'm kind of waiting for everything to populate in Amazon before I start really promoting it. But it's possible that by the time you're listening to this, that Don's House in the Mountains is available for you to pick up. In addition to that, I republished my previous 3 novels. So Chad and Accounting, that one was an easier republish because I didn't realize this, but I had published that one with cream colored paper instead of white paper. And the reason why cream colored paper is better for novels, I don't know, actually I don't know why it's better for novels, but it's more standard for novels, right? That white paper is more for like nonfiction, for scholarly books. So I don't know if you remember in college, if you ever, it was always interesting with professors in college, which ones made you get the hardcover copy. Usually if it was their book, right, they wanted you to get the hardcover. But if you get the paperback version, right, it would always have this white paper that was very different from the kind of cream paper that you'd have in a novel. So I published Chad and Accounting with the cream paper, and then when I published A Girl and a Gun, I didn't realize that the default for the setting is white paper, not cream paper, even if you're doing a novel. And so I had published that one with white paper, published Holtman Arms with white paper, published Bainbridge with white paper. And then when I went to do Don's House in the Mountains, same thing. I had it white paper, before I published it, right, when I was doing proof copies. And then when I was uploading new covers, right, so KDP, Amazon KDP has this thing where you can create your own covers if you want. So they have a cover creator system where you can upload images and all that, and they take care of it all for you. Or you can give them the dimensions of your book, and they will calculate a template for you that you can use. And I use that in Canva to create new covers. So when I went to put in the Chad and Accounting one, realized like it said that the dimensions weren't right, which didn't sound right. And then I realized, that one had cream paper. So I was like, okay, well, I'll switch that one back to white paper, or switch it to white paper so it'll match the others. And it was like, well, you can't do that. You have to publish it again. And then I looked into it and I was like, actually, no, cream paper is what I should have had. So I put Don's House in the Mountains in cream paper, and then Holtman Arms and Girl and a Gun, I unpublished those paperbacks that I had and republished them with the cream paper. So now all 4 of them were going to have the cream color paper, so they'll match essentially. And going forward, I'll make sure to use cream colored paper for any of my novels. If I put anything out in nonfiction, I might. I think the one idea that I had for a nonfiction was just writing a direct-to-video connoisseur book. Just kind of writing about my experience with the blog, with the movies, all of that kind of thing. I'm still kind of working on that book. I've kind of left it for a bit, but I'm hoping to kind of get back into it. So that might be published in the white paper. But anyway, you can't just change the type of paper with KDP. You have to actually unpublish and then go through the whole process of publishing your book again with a new ISBN number and all of that. If you want to change the paper type. So anybody out there who's thinking of self-publishing, keep that in mind, right? That if you want to change the paper type, you have to go through the publishing process again. All that to say, those 2, Holtman Arms and A Girl and a Gun, they're a little bit behind in the republishing process, so they're still populating the paperbacks and all of that. I was able to put in for author's copies for all of my books. But if you go to the site, definitely Don's House in the Mountain, available on paperback right now. And Chad and Accounting, the new cover is available now if you haven't checked that one out. For anybody who's bought my novels before, which again, first and foremost, thank you so much for support, for the support, for supporting my writing like that. I always appreciate it. But if you bought those ones and you're thinking, hey, I kind of would like a copy that actually has an image on art on the cover, as opposed to just the blank cover that the plain blank covers that you put out before. By all means, reach out to me. You can ping me on Facebook Messenger. You can send me an email at dtvconnoisseur@yahoo.com. Message me on Instagram, wherever. Twitter as well. I take Twitter messages. Reach out to me if you want. Give me your address, and I can send you author's copies at no charge to you to replace them. So just let me know. Hey, I already bought the book, Matt. I already owned. I kind of have a rough idea of who has bought it because not a lot of people have been buying the book, so I almost have a sense of it. But by all means, yeah, I am, for sure, I'm happy to help you out with that there. But again, thank you again for supporting, and everybody out there who's looking at my novels and looking to buy them, always appreciate that support. So something I'm very excited about. I'm excited that I was able to actually design covers. So that was a thing that, initially I was thinking it was going to be like paying somebody $75 on Fiverr to do, and I just don't have the money for that. And so, the blank covers were cheaper. I mean, I will say the other thing is that Chad and Accounting, in my head, I imagine Chad and Accounting, that book, was just the black with just the title and my name. That was how I envisioned that cover. I liked the idea of that with no image or anything like that. That was really what I wanted. But then when I got it home and I looked at it, I really liked how it looked, but then it was like trying to sell it, trying to mention to people, people were talking about like what is this book? I don't know what this is. There's no cover, doesn't tell me anything, or there's no image. I know one of my mom's friends, she really liked the book, and she went to have her daughter read it. Her daughter was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not touching this. And she wanted me to change. She was joking, but she was kind of also serious that I should change the title to Never Judge a Book by Its Cover. The idea that I really liked was not really the best idea, right? That I should have had a design for the cover probably initially. By the same token, I think it's good that I got the novels out there. I think that it's good to be like, okay, I've published books, right? Even if it's self-publishing, right? There are novels out there. So I think I'm glad I didn't wait until I was able to design covers for them, that they were out there. But now that I have them, it does feel a little bit more whole, right? A little bit more complete. I feel like I can push them a little bit more, and be like, hey, look at, there's designs on these covers, all that kind of stuff. Still trying to keep the designs as simple as possible, though, too. I'm not really going to go out of my way with anything too elaborate for those. So keep the simplicity up, keep the color scheme up as well, so that, when they're on people's shelves, they kind of match that same color scheme. So all that will be the same. But yeah, definitely keep an eye on this space for more information on the novels. But yeah, Don's House in the Mountains, it's available now. I'm going to check and see. I don't know if I'll be able to put the link in here, because I don't know if it's fully available on the Amazon Marketplace as I'm recording this, but hopefully it will be there soon. And yeah, as always, I always appreciate the support. And even if you can't buy a copy of the book, if you see the posts, right? So if you see the posts on Facebook, you see the posts on Twitter, Instagram, wherever, just liking, even if you don't feel like retweeting it, right? Even if you don't want to retweet it or repost it or share it or whatever, just liking the post is huge, right? So, if you see those posts on your feed, definitely, giving them a like is a huge help, because it boosts the visibility. So, hey, if you liked my post on A Time to Die, right? The Tracy Lords movie, the PM Entertainment flick that I did in honor of Richard Roundtree. If you like that, I have a playlist of PM flicks, which I'm trying to kind of work on more. If you like those kinds of things and you want to give those a like, giving my novels a like definitely is a huge help as well. And so something I always appreciate. So I think that is everything there. So what we're going to do is to have our theme song here from John Cross, who again is going to hopefully be on with us next week. But yeah, we'll have the DTV Connoisseur theme song, and then Ty from Comeuppance will be on, and we will be talking about Detective Night Redemption. We are back with DTV Connoisseur Podcast, and I am joined by frequent collaborator on our show, Ty from Comeuppance. Ty, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me back for another exciting double feature.
Yes, and so, yeah, and funny enough, I was just looking at it online because I was curious to see how long I'd been on Spotify for, right? And I looked and I saw that it had been a year since you and I started doing these, like, kind of it was originally a Bruce Willis thing. We're trying to see as many Bruce Willis movies as possible.
And then
it's turned into now Bruce Dern. It's turned into all kinds of different things. But it's been a year since we started doing this, which is crazy. It's already been a year.
I can't believe it. As Owen Wilson says, wow. Just like, can't believe it. He's so, I feel like he's getting close to the straight-to-video realm. But we have Luke. Don't forget the best man, and of course, Gasoline Alley.
Right. Yes,
getting close, Owen. Right. TikTok for you, sir.
No,
or not. We'll see.
It's interesting. Luke is there, whereas, like, I think it's because Owen brings a little bit, like, more to the table than Luke does. But also, too, didn't you say Luke is he's not quite Seagal level, but he's not easy to work with.
That's what I heard. If you look up vacancy Luke Wilson diva on Google, you'll find something. So,
yeah, sometimes that's all it takes to get you into the DTV realm.
Well, that's the thing. See, Owen Wilson, he made Behind Enemy Lines,
right?
Step in the right direction.
Yeah,
and then that's a theatrically released movie, which I thought was good.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he said "wow" to Gene Hackman. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I might be making that up.
No, but you can be right. Yeah, it's funny because, like, this whole thing started when I moved from TalkShoe to Spotify, and I wanted to do a solo episode so that just in case something went wrong, any whoever's the guest on wouldn't if they're promoting something or whatever it is, that it wouldn't be like a
goofed.
Yeah. And then you listened. It was a solo Willis episode, and you were like, "Hey, I could do some Willis. I'd be happy to come on and do some Willis with you."
Glomming on ever since,
Yeah. Well, no, because it's worked out really well. The funny thing is,
it's fun.
The best performing one, I think, out of all of them was the one we did with Section 8 in it. That's one, amazing. People really liked that one.
I really liked We Know Johnny Drama. I mean, I know we're talking about our own pods here, but it's like, We Know Johnny Drama is very funny, and I think a Dolph sub with Grillo cheese.
Right. Yes, that was a good one.
Those are maybe the best titles. Like, yes, but they were so fun to I know.
Yeah.
You need to bring back Kevin Dillon, man.
I know we gotta get into some Kevin Dillon, because that's another one that would definitely be a good one. I was trying to think of which ones. I mean, that one definitely, like I think the Section 8, or maybe because it was 3 movies, there's that part of it too. But I think the Section 8 conversation, I think people were like curious about that. Like, okay, it's got Dolph, it's got Dolmar Maroney, it's got Scott Adkins, and
it's got Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke, exactly. That's right. Yeah.
I forget he's in that. It's like, I'm like a mechanic. All right, bye.
Right. Yeah, he's like a mechanic who gets teared up every once in a while, and seems like he was kind of a mess, but he just he took care of it.
He's getting lazy again. He's been lazy for another 10 years again. Like, he said, I'm not going to be lazy ever again. I'm going to make the best movies possible.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was like one of those things where he did The Wrestler, and got the Oscar nomination and all of that kind of stuff, and everybody was just like, "Wow, Rourke's back, right? He's great," and he's just like, "That's it, I did it." I proved that I can come back.
I had to come back, and now I'm gonna go back into the skids again. It's like he's been on the skids ever since.
Yes,
once he made like Java Heat, he has Kellen Lutz. You're going on the Kellen Lutz. What are you doing? What's that crud? Well, I can't think of it right now. Oh, it's something with Bai Ling. I didn't watch it yet. It's called The Legion.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but yeah.
I found it for $1 at Goodwill. It's like, oh, Mickey Rourke and Bai Ling? It's like,
yeah.
You guys have a purchase. It's like, so I like that he's going back to the skids. So.
Yeah, I mean, the best story I heard was on Sean Malloy's podcast. He had the producer, I think, or the director of War Pigs, and he asked him about Rourke his character wearing a cowboy hat in the movie, and he was like, "That's not like historically accurate, right? Was that just that Rourke wanted to wear the cowboy hat and you were stuck with it?" And he's like, "Pretty much, yeah, that's it."
Well, that's that story you can look up on IMDb about Luck of the Draw. You remember that movie? It's all these great people. It's like he wanted to bring his Chihuahua in the movie, and they said no, so he left the set. Right. It's like. Wouldn't that be fun? I don't know. The Luck of the Draw is such a mediocre kind of crime movie you watch at the video store.
Yeah.
Michael Madsen, it's like...
Right.
I'm Zippo. I think my name is Zippo. It's like...
I don't know if I've seen Luck of the Draw. It sounds...
I know... It's amazing.
I know it... Like it's one of those ones where, like, I know the cover.
It's all the tough guy faces. You got Eric Roberts, William Forsythe, Michael Madsen, Ice-T. Frank Marshall from the original Gladiator movie.
Maybe I have seen. I'm looking at it right now, and I'm like, okay, Luco Bertovici was the director.
Yeah, I've seen him hanging around these movies.
Yeah,
and directing
Bertovici.
Yeah.
Let's see. External reviews. Is direct-to-video connoisseur on there? Oh, look at there I am. Yes, I did review it. So I have seen Luck of the Draw before.
I don't think we reviewed it. I just watched it just to kill time once. Just like,
yeah. Let's see what I thought of it. I said this wasn't too bad. Yeah, this wasn't too bad. It was a classic Tarantino-esque heist caper style deal where the violence is more out of fun than any seriousness. And then I guess they betray it, I guess, with the hero's love interest dad, Frank Gorshin. Right, that's right. Okay, so that's right.
Gorshin. He's like he has a ton of screen time. It's more of a Gorshin flick.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta love Gorshin. I mean, I love
Gorshin. See, we have a place in Connecticut called Goshen. You can go to in Connecticut. Goshen. So I was thinking Frank Goshen, Frank Gorshin.
Frank Gorshin. Yeah. Because, that's the thing. I think anytime you get somebody from the old Batman in a movie, I mean, granted, Adam West is probably the big one. I mean, he did like those Marcini films. So he was great in those. I like when Adam West is in these bad movies. It's like he's almost Shatner-esque in his way of acting. So it's really fun to watch. Yes. I've been watching T.J. Hooker. I'm still watching it. I've been watching it since March, sir. Yeah. I have a lot of delays in work life, but he does. Sometimes you get that classic Shatner-esque talking. It's like, well, the criminal will fall. It's like the criminal went away and now have to catch him. It's like, but it's funny. It's funny. I laugh. It's like, okay, you did one of those, didn't you? And I feel like his gut is ever expanding. And each season, because he has a lot of donuts, and then Adrian Zemeckis says, "Stop, lay off the donuts, TJ." Well, the thing I love is that with TJ Hooker, especially watching it now, right? Like, and you watch it like as opposed to like what it was like in rerun. Like, I think I kind of remember it being new, but I more remember it being in reruns, and just think of it as like a cop show. But watching it now, it's like. It's kind of interesting because there's almost a Seagal-esque approach to it where it's like Heather Locklear is the one going out, like getting caught and getting in trouble. And TJ Hooker just sort of shows up at the end a lot of times, especially when you get to the later seasons.
Well, it's almost kind of like Quincy sometimes.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
There's like one part where like Shatner always gets mad, kind of like how Quincy does. Like, how dare you, these drugs are too dangerous for children. That's the Quincy. Right. It's like... And then he's like, okay, I'll leave. Goodbye. It's like, but you can't help it. The best, obviously, Quincy episode is when there's like the devil, like there's like, the devil kids. I always forget. Right, it's like season 7, so they really run out of ideas. So it's like, these devil kids are taking these drugs. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna. It's like, these punk kids. I think it was like punks.
That was the thing. Yeah, those shows like Quincy's one. I mean, Hunter's another one, right? Where it's like you get towards the end there, and you're just like, like Hunter was a trip because it was just like again, it was like Stephanie Kramer, her character would just get caught, and she would be the one who would get in all the trouble, whereas then, he would just show up. Hunter would show up
because he's riding the desk the whole past 5 seasons.
Right, exactly.
Like, he's not riding the desk. I know. You know what? It doesn't work for me. Okay.
Right.
So it's like, she got to stop writing the desk. Okay.
Yeah.
Almost a Trump there. Okay. Hunter can't write a desk. Oh yeah, I can write a desk. The presidential desk. Okay. I'm coming back. Maybe probably not though. Okay.
No. It's funny. I wish I had a better Trump impression because yesterday I was walking on the street yesterday on Chestnut Street here in Philly, which is kind of a busy one where there's a lot of shops and stuff, so tourists are on there, and these two kids, they were probably they look they were in their 20s. They stopped me and they're like, "Hey, can you help us out? We're making a video here." And I thought they were like college kids. And the dude, right? I kind of realized it right away what I was in for when the dude he kind of had like beady eyes, and I could see like under his coat that he had a sweatshirt that looked like it might have been like kind of like a right wing kind of thing. And he's like, he goes, "So do you think Joe Biden should run again?" And I was like, "Sure, why not? I don't know, and he was like,
YouTube now.
Right, that's what I'm wondering. If I'm going to end up on YouTube because then he was like, well, a lot of people in the Democratic Party think he shouldn't run. What do you think of that? I was like, I don't know, and I realized I got to get out of here, So then he was like, CNN has polls saying that there are polls that say he shouldn't run. Even CNN has. He's like, what do you think of that? I was like, hey, that's a great question, and I was like, I got to go, and I just bolted.
That's a great question. Gotta go. You might be in it.
Yeah, I was like, how did I get myself?
Release?
No. They just said, "Do you want to help us with this video?" So I don't know how that works because I didn't sign any release.
Mr. Beast videos I hear so much about. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, so I don't know what he does. He gives money to charity, I guess, but it's like I always hear about him.
Yeah, I mean, if I had a good Trump, I could have pivoted it. I could have been like Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. I don't know if just Sleepy Joe should run again. Yeah, I would have think. Yeah, they would have caught on to it. Like,
but I could see why you didn't want to do it because you wanted to leave.
Right. Well, because the thing is like there are a lot of colleges here in Philadelphia, and the college students, they do have projects they have to work on. So it's like, I'll see them and they'll be like, but the thing I didn't catch is that they usually announce, like, hey, I'm with the University of Pennsylvania, I got to do this survey. Do you mind helping me out? And it's like, okay, I've been there, I know what it's like, so I'll fill out your survey. Like that's the kind of thing I thought it was.
You were in that back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, I want to help these kids out. The other thing too is I was ordering my Taco Bell on the app, so I could,
had to go
right
to the border.
I had to run to the border, but it was like one of those things where I wasn't paying attention. Which when you're in the city, you should always be paying attention. You shouldn't be like walking and putting an order in or texting or something like that, because you never know when two kids with a camera and a microphone are going to accost you and try to get you into some kind of right-wing video kind of thing. So so there's that part there. So I was thinking too, because
PragerU.
Right, exactly.
Not PragerMe. It's called PragerU.
Right, exactly. Yeah. One of the things, I think it was Brett's friend Anthony, when we were all hanging out here when they came to visit. I think he mentioned this fact that Joe Biden's birth was closer to Abe Lincoln's inauguration than his own inauguration. And so I should have said to those kids, I was like, listen, you want to trap people into saying that they don't like Biden or something? You should use this fact instead of CNN. Nobody cares about CNN anymore. You should be like, hey, did you know that Joe Biden's birth was closer to Abe Lincoln's birthday or inauguration than his own inauguration? What do you think of that? And it's like, let's see what people respond,
Well, I like that you mentioned you're going to Taco Bell, because we did the podcast yesterday. You saying you're going to go to Taco Bell. So there actually is a continuation to your Taco Bell journey.
I actually did. Yeah. So what I did was I got the so I have the rewards points things for Taco Bell. And awesome. So they're giving me a reward for having used the rewards for a year. And I had to get a beefy 5-layer burrito. If I buy one, I get one free. So I decided to try it without the beef. I swapped the beef for black beans to see what that was like. And what happens is when you swap out the black beans for the beef, right? Mm-hmm. The cheese sauce is so strong that like you need the beef with like whatever that sauce is that they put on the beef.
Yeah,
you need that. Yeah, you need that to cut the cheese sauce taste, and I didn't have that, and so because I'm not like a full out vegetarian. I eat cheesesteaks and stuff like that. I eat meat. I'm kind of more like a
same here. I'm done with chicken though, because I had some like all chicken tastes rubbery to me now.
Yeah,
I'm done.
Yeah, especially if you get fast food chicken, like you just don't know what how long it's going to sit for.
Well, that's a good point. And there's a place called Pokemoto. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this place?
Well, I don't have a Pokemoto, but like the Poke Bowls. Yeah.
There's this place called Pokemoto, or as I call it, Pokemoto. But in Pokemoto, you have chicken, and I tried. It's like, it tastes terrible. So just like avoid the chicken at Pokemoto.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Well, because the thing too with the beef, right? It's like when you get beef at like Taco Bell, like there's been a lot of the talk about how they make their beef anyway. So it's kind of like, all right, like the
newspaper shreddings. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, like like the black beans are probably going to be like less, because what can you do to a black bean to make it bad, right? Like you can't, it's just like you get this whole big dried bowl of beans. And I guess if they left them out too long, right, that could make you sick.
Right,
but
classic bowl of beans.
Right. Yeah. With the app, you can swap out the beef for the beans, or you can swap out anything for the beans if you want. They don't take any money off, which is interesting. It's like if you...
Oh, that's interesting. That's kind of good.
It's no. It's like, well, if you get like let's say you got something that had beans in it, and you want to swap it for beef, you got to pay extra. But if you want to swap beef for beans, they don't make it cheaper, which is kind of whatever. But yeah, I think you can't you can't like always swap. What I learned yesterday, I guess, is all that to say. What I learned yesterday is that you can't just swap the two. Like there are some things that really require the beef. Like it's, they're meant to have the beef in them. And you can't just do a straight swap and hope it's going to be just as good.
Oh, yeah. Hope you had a nice Taco Bell.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's funny. The other thing too is that they, the people that work there, they didn't close my ticket out. So my app kept telling me that my order was in progress. And then finally this morning, I guess something happened where it closed the ticket out. And I got this message at 8 a.m. saying my order was ready, even though I'd already eaten it like 16 hours ago. So.
Well, that's Taco Bell app for you. That's why I don't buy these like DoorDash apps and stuff.
Right.
Or the other one. What's the one? Oh, Grubhubs.
Grubhub, yeah.
So it's like, well, I don't want to fall into that trap because, I don't want to, I'm going to get like 5 Big Macs and like 5 sets of fries. It's like, I'm not doing that.
No.
It's very tempting.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with the Taco Bell app that's good, right, is that you can do like I did yesterday where I can order it and then pick it up when I get there as opposed to like, going in line and like, like if there's a big line, it's like, it's a little bit easier that way to do, with the app and then, you get free things. But I know what you mean, like with like things like DoorDash and stuff like that. The other thing with Taco Bell's app that's better than like DoorDash is that DoorDash, like you said, one, it tempts you to like order a bunch of crap, but also they mark up the prices because the companies have to pay or the restaurants have to pay DoorDash a fee to use it. So at least with Taco Bell, it's its own app. So there's no fee to use the app.
It's its own taco entity.
Exactly right. Yeah. So
it's. I talk about the movies we're talking about.
I know
we Taco Bell all day.
I know we got on Taco Bell. Well, one of the things we realized that we hadn't talked about Bruce Willis since August, when we talked about Detective Night, Independence. No, Detective Night Rogue. Rogue. Independence is the third one.
Detective Night
Redemption. So we're on number 2 here, Detective Night Redemption. We figure we continue to follow in the saga of the Bruce Willis Detective Night story. And these movies, these are like kind of, I don't know if we say the penultimate movies. I mean, it's like his last movie is Assassin, but then you've got these Detective Night films are kind of like close to the end here.
I think Assassin is on Hulu. We have to watch that maybe soon.
Yes, yeah.
And then the other movie we're doing today is Invincible. From
Invincible
with 2022, 2021.
It's 20. It says it came out in 2020, but I think it did come out like for us in the States here in 2022. I think it had a delay. Yeah.
So there's the hot movies today we're talking about.
Yeah, and we figured we would start with the Willis. I think we're going to kind of do because Invincible is another Daniel Zirilli, so I think we thought we'll save the Zirilli for after, like we did last time. That seemed to work out well.
Phoenix was a massive success.
Right, and that's going to be interesting to see if Assassin, it's. I think there's going to be some interesting things about Assassin when we get into it that are going to, almost reduce the ability of being the kind of movie that Phoenix was, which may or may not be a good thing. I think that's
Invincible.
Invincible, I mean, yes, yeah, exactly. So we get into Invincible. So, but why don't we jump into Detective Night Redemption? So this movie takes place after the first movie, so after Detective Night Rogue. It picks up where that one movie left off, and I think we were concerned that that the movie was going to have a lot of flashbacks to the first. It could have a lot of flashback padding. It did have a lot of flashback padding, so
it wasn't terrible. I gotta say, this really wasn't that bad. Maybe it caught me on a good day. A lot of these movies are catching me on a good day lately.
No, I think this one's not horrible. So I'll give a quick synopsis here.
Go ahead.
So in this one, again, picks up where the last one left off. Willis is in prison, or is in jail, waiting trial for killing Winna. I believe because he killed Winna, he's going to jail for that.
Yeah,
and then we've got Bo Murchoff back as Casey Rhodes, who, of course, I don't know that we were all clamoring for more of Casey Rhodes' story, but he's back and he's also in jail, waiting trial for his armed robbery offenses. He's facing 25 years to life. And then we've got Paul Johansson. So Paul Johansson from One Tree Hill. I remember him as Greg Sears from 90210. He played the fraternity head that Ian Ziering, I can't remember. Steve Sanders pledges.
Steve Sanders, yeah.
Right. I think he had a thing for Kelly, something like that was going on there. But he was a jerk in that. And then, of course, One Tree Hill. And then also Highlander the Raven, which I was a huge fan of Elizabeth Grayson's character in Highlander. So it was cool that they spun that off. And it was really interesting that they would pick Paul Johansson.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wow, so, I really forgot about Highlander the Raven.
Yes. Yeah, it was like
nice
one
to hear
season.
That again. Yeah.
Yeah. So Paul Johansson, from all of that stuff, he is a church pastor, or sorry, a prison pastor, who it turns out is also running this this gang of Santa Clauses that are
Yes.
robbing banks around Christmas time. So this is a Christmas movie. This is another Bruce Willis Christmas film here. And actually kind of is fitting that we're doing this now because in America, and I don't know how this is for the rest of the world, but in America, Christmas season starts essentially once Halloween's done. And actually, to some extent, it starts even before that. It bleeds into September. So this is officially Christmas season here in America. So
it was just Christmas. I mean, it's like
right.
it wasn't okay. Fine,
right.
That's Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. There's anything about Christmas. I guess Johansson every once in a while will say, "Here's a Christmas present," and it'll be like a grenade or something. So
yes.
so we have this detective. We have the jerk detective, Anna Shea, played by Miranda Edwards, who she decides the only way to stop Paul Johansson and his gang of evil Santa Clauses is to bring in Bruce Willis as James Knight, get him out of jail, and have him solve the crime. At the same time, Rhodes, Bo Murchoff, Casey Rhodes, he has been boosted out of prison by Johansson, and he tries to sell Johansson out. He tries to get him busted, and Johansson finds out, hits him in the back of the head with a hammer, and then kidnaps his daughter and wife, and says, "Well, if you don't help me out here, they're gonna die." So now he's been press ganged into joining their gang. So it all comes to a head. There's also a mayor involved. We don't know how he's involved with all this, but essentially all of this is coming to a head. And the key is Willis going to able to take these guys down before they pull their big heist? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
It's funny you mentioned the mayor because it's played by a Canadian actor named John Cassini.
Yes,
and he's been in a lot of stuff. I mean,
yeah,
like they must hire him all the time because he's in everything. All the movies that we like, all the movies from the past. It's like, he's in Vice. I've obviously seen this guy a million times, but sometimes he doesn't make an impression.
No,
so
right.
I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm just saying that sometimes he just doesn't make an impression. So
yeah, he was in the previous movie, which I didn't realize. I didn't catch that.
He's in Chaos. Wesley Snipes and Jason Statham in Philippines.
Yeah,
I don't remember his character. I rewatched it, Chaos. I have to say it kind of fell off, but
yeah.
But back in 2005, you're not talking about the movie. Chaos is like, whoa, look at this. As Jason Statham, Ryan Phillippe, and Wesley Snipes, and John Cassini.
Yeah,
I can't believe it. Yeah. It's like, and Henry Czerny. Is that how you say his name?
That's a good question.
Czerny. I never heard it said out loud before.
Let's see. Yeah, because Cassini played Bertie Callow or Cayo. I don't know if that's how that but yeah, I think I reviewed this one for the site because it was.
I did too. I think I watched it like an old stream. No, it was like, remember when you can watch movies and you don't have to go through all these weird passwords and dark webs.
Right.
You can just watch. You can just watch it. It's like, I'm watching Chaos on online.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
And I think I did that for 88 minutes too. So we can go back to that.
Yeah.
Wow. Right. 88 minutes. What is my name in that movie again? I forget. But it's just like. Oh, it was. I'll have to look that up. But it's like, that's a great movie, by the way. As we talked about.
I haven't seen 88 Minutes yet. I've got to see that one. I think I've been meaning to.
Maybe we can do that again. I mean, like it's classic, but it was from the makers of Righteous Kill.
Right.
Jack Graham. That's my name. I'm like a, a professor and a writer.
Right. Martin Baum. Yes.
Martin Baum. Martin Baum might be in it. That'd be amazing. Martin Baum was in it.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
All right, back to the movie. Yeah. So I did. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. No. What did you have for your notes on this one? Because
my notes.
I unfortunately didn't take them like I should have, and that was a bad one on my part because I had some cool things I wanted to say and completely forgot them. So.
Okay, so here's my thing. So the funny part I thought was in the beginning. You got these bloody Santas, and they have evil chanting hoes. Like,
right. Yes.
Oh, I laughed at that.
Yeah.
Okay, that kind of hooked me in a little bit. The movie's obviously pretty dumb.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, people want to rob these banks, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a second, our money's in them. You can't. Your banks aren't that bad. I mean, where are we gonna put our money, under a pillow?
Right.
I mean, how are we gonna pay bills on auto pay?
Right.
Let's talk. I know people hate the banks and the billionaires and it's like Bernie Sanders, millionaires and billionaires. It's like
right.
He used to say millionaires and billionaires. Not to be political, but now he just moved over to billionaires.
Yes. Yeah.
Because he's a millionaire from his book that why would people read? But it's like I know political, but it's like
I know what you mean.
But I mean, like hey, I caught that, Mr. Bernie. Remember when they said Bernie was like a sexist or something?
Yes,
like,
right. And I think AOC came to his defense on that one. I think, if I'm right. Yeah, because you know she's a bit they're you know she's kind of like her mentor, I guess. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but
here's
yeah.
a better mentor. Anybody else? Because it's like it's like because he drives me crazy. Not I don't. Here's why. Because all politicians do this, not just Bernie.
Yeah.
Which is they're talking about, let's say, this war we're dealing with Israel and such.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Israel today bombed a bunch of things. Like, we know. Why are you telling us the news?
Right.
Why are you telling us your speeches? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
But it's like, isn't that? I think that's frustrating.
Yeah, because it's like this thing with I probably need to follow your lead a little bit more, be on Twitter a little less, because I think you just go on to post your
I post it and that's
the
it.
post,
Maybe
and then
I'll check what
do
you
some
have
likes and retweets, and that's I should do that more. I go on and I'm like, so I'm doing some likes and retweets, but also kind of just seeing like what people are saying about like sporting events or something like that I'm watching or whatever
that's
it is.
fine.
But then, like you said, it's almost like all of the politicians, they have a publicity team or something that makes them comment on what's happening in the world. That's why you get like that whole thing with like like the Republican politicians that are completely anti against any kind of gun control. They still have to do the thoughts and prayers when there's a school shooting, and they know they're going to get killed for the thoughts and prayers, right? They know that you're going to get murdered, but it's like if they don't do anything, they get killed for that too. Which I know it's probably better to not say anything at all. But
I don't say anything. I mean, I
right.
don't. And then here's the classic line: "Silence is violence."
Right.
You know, the thing is that you just like. You don't have to say anything. See, people don't have to say everything at all times. You can just let it go.
Right. It's the weirdest thing about all of this is that you're right. It's like everybody feels like they've got to you've got to have a thing to say. And I think the other thing too, one thing I do find with Twitter is if I'm on there a lot, like I'll start to want to comment on people's posts. And I have to be like, yeah, and I'm gonna be like, okay, Matt, take a step back here. This is not anything you need to be commenting on. Right? It's like it's like don't.
It's so I know it's a good point because it's like you want to fall into the trap.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. And then you don't because like,
yeah.
What do you want to? It's like, what do you want to say? And then you want to go viral,
Right. Well,
usually when you go viral back in the day, like, oh, you're sick. But it's like
exactly. Now it's like, well, because now everybody's trying to manufacture viral. That's the other thing too. Is like, you want to have that post that gets like thousands of retweets and whatever reposts. I think is now what Musk calls it.
Oh, that's right. The reposts, not
the reposts. But yeah, everybody wants to kind of go viral. Whereas, it's like one of those things where it's like. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That like people are almost sort of trying to manufacture viral, and it's like like they want to try to get some, can I get a celebrity to retweet me or something, or can I, put something out that's so big that it just catches fire.
I mean, that's the when I post these things on Instagram, these tapes. Sometimes I tag people, sometimes they comment, or they don't. Like Casper Van Dien, usually comments if I have a Casper in the post, which I gotta tell you, I don't. But maybe I should buy some more Casper on tape.
Right, and, exactly. Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say because like Casper Van Dien, like he kind of has fun with it with us, which is always a cool thing, right? That like
he looks like he actually cares. At least I can tell. I mean, same with Dean Cochran.
Yeah.
Last I checked in with him. I tagged him for Air Marshal, and maybe he's busy, but it's
well, yeah, because you never know too, like with that kind of thing too, like what's going on with them or whatever. But it's like that kind of thing. It's like, oh, if Casper Van Dien likes it, and yeah, maybe it takes off, maybe it gets like another 300 or 400 extra likes or whatever. But it's like it's not manufactured. It's almost more like, hey, I'm posting this, and you've liked some posts before. What do you think of this one? That's
what I thought. That's why I posted the Air Marshal thing. It's like, we're supposed to like meet Dean Cochran in L.A. It's like
right, exactly. Yeah.
That's amazing. But yeah, let me look at my notes again. All right, so the thing about banks. Okay, so then they rip off the untouchable speech. Like first you bring a gun, then you bring a knife.
Right. Yes. And she's like, the best is like the way she does like the speech to them that's supposed to like really inspire them. And she's like, and if they come with a gun, you need a tank. I will get you that tank. And it's like. Okay. All right.
I don't think Sean Connery said that. Like.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I can only do Welcome to the Rock. I can only do that.
Exactly. You can't die, McLeod.
That's perfect. Yeah.
That's the only thing I can say in a Sean Connery voice.
Yeah. We have our own. That's funny. We heard both different movies from Sean Connery.
Right. Exactly. Right.
Well, it's also you're the man now, dog.
That's right. That was one of the worst movies I think ever. Finding Forrester. It was like one of those
it's
ones
actually
where
really bad. Okay, I wasn't really sure.
I watched it. So like the worst part about it, I mean, like the only thing that's good is that F. Murray Abraham's in it, and he's fun. But it's like it plays out like all these like really weird race themes, and then also it's like Sean Connery's character comes out of hiding to give this speech, and the writers were just like, we are so bad at writing movies that we are not going to even attempt to write a speech that a really great author would write because we would fail so badly that they just do a montage of him speaking and people
that's not good.
being inspired by it.
Speak.
Right. It's like
I can totally see that. They cut back. Oh, what a speech.
Like, right. It's just like a montage of him like talking with like the music playing in the background, and then kids in the audience being inspired by him talking. Just absolutely like. But people seem to like that movie, and I it blows my mind because I was just like, this is crap. But
it's funny. It's just like I know Sean Connery passed away. And I wish he didn't like quit acting after LXG or League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Like I always forget there's an X in that. It's like, wait, what's the X? Extraordinary. right. I watched. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
I was gonna say that the letter X is way cooler than the letter E. So just people out. Yeah.
But I watched League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Maybe like 7-8 years ago. I thought it was watchable when you're like not doing anything.
Right.
Like, it's a movie you watch first in the morning and when you're not doing anything.
Yeah. It's one of those, like, I'm flipping through the channels and it's on. I'll just have it on. I had a roommate who was like a huge fan of it. Like, he really liked it. And I remember watching it with him. I'm like, I don't know what we're doing here. Like, I'm just going to pick up a book and start reading or whatever. It's like one of those things. But I think that you're right. It's like the perfect, like, like if you're ironing, right? Like, just have this on while you're ironing or cooking eggs or something. Right.
Yeah, you cook some eggs, do some ironing, maybe some quick laundry. You're still listening to it. You're watching it, but not really with a peripheral vision.
Yeah.
But it's like
every once in a while you stop what you're doing. It's a perfect thing to watch while you're folding clothes. It's a great folding clothes movie.
Oh yeah, it's a great clothes movie. It's like they made it like, okay, we're gonna make this for people who want to fold clothes.
Right. Exactly.
This is a folding clothes movie. Nowadays everything's a phone movie or a phone show.
Yes. Yeah.
Just like this movie, it's kind of was a phone movie a bit. And let me go back to my notes. Okay, so Untouchables. Okay, yeah. So Untouchables, that's a good movie. And the thing about Sean Connery is I wish he was still around, but I wish he went, to the skids. Maybe he could do some he could do Rising Sun 2.
You know what it was? You know what the problem was that he went to the skids before direct to video, right? Because there was he did Zardos, and stuff like that.
That's a good point. Yeah,
he was in the skids in the 70s, and then he got bigger in the 80s and 90s. And so then it was like, that's he needed to hit the skids. Like you think like with PM Entertainment, it would have been perfect if he had a career through the 70s into the 80s, and then he would have been ripe for PM, and if he had hit the skids then.
That's a great point. I'm looking up Rising Sun.
What was the line from that, right? Where the guy's like, I want to warn you, I'm a black belt. He's like, oh, what does he say? Like, good for you, or like very proud of you, or something. Oh, that's really great.
Very proud of you, son. That's good.
Chops him in the throat or something.
Yeah, that was good. See, that's why you don't usually see like Sean Connery do like martial art things. I mean, we get close with Rising Sun. Yeah. And I guess we can take what we can get.
Yes. Yeah. But exactly.
What? Oh, because
Eleanor
Clift is all over Rising Sun. Has more screen time than Wesley Snipes, which was made before. And I couldn't believe how much screen time Eleanor Clift got in Rising Sun. I mean,
it's the most fascinating because we've talked about this before. It's like
we have,
You're watching PBS and you see McLaughlin Group, and she's there getting yelled at by McLaughlin, wrong, whatever,
Hey, wrong, Eleanor.
Yeah, right, exactly. But and then you're watching Rising Sun, and you're like, wait a second, is that? And of course you didn't have like the internet back then to look those things up. It was more like you just had to like realize
wait, that's Eleanor Clift from the McLaughlin Group. Exactly. Why does she have more screen time than Sean Connery in Rising Sun?
Where's the rest of the McLaughlin Group?
Yeah, where's John McLaughlin? They got Clarence Page. They got it's ridiculous. We did that. Okay, I see. I have not many notes here, so I'll go back to my notes again. So it says, I said, well, it's trying, but you don't care.
Right.
And the pace was slack, and thank goodness for Lachlan Monroe.
Yes.
He was a big help. And the one funny line, which was, stay frosty, Santas.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I mean, the one thing that I liked, you're right. The pacing on this thing was rough. It was kind of
a bit slack, but I guess I gave it a break. Well, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Well, no, because the ending where you get Bruce Willis as Detective Knight, where he just shows up, where so the guys are like robbing this like secret 1% like vault, and so they're all these guys dressed up like Santas, and he grabs the Santa mask. He only wears it for a second, but he goes in there with like this high powered rifle or something. It just starts blowing these guys away, and it was like so badass.
Cool. Yeah. It was so awesome. Like, okay, the Bruce is back. You know,
exactly.
Like, this is the Bruce you want.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why I kind of gave it a pass. I definitely did not hate it.
No. I mean, compared to the previous one, I think this one was a little bit better. And I agree with you about the Lachlan Monroe part because, again, with these later Bruce Willis films, we're going to lose him for huge chunks of the film. And to have Lachlan Monroe show up and be the guy who's filling in those spots. And then also, I think Paul Johansson as the baddie was really great. So it's like you have that combination of Monroe and Johansson as two. Like, I think the problem with the last one is that we got too much Bo Murchoff doing that stuff.
Yeah, and too much Corey Large. And it's like...
Yes, Corey Large, exactly. Yeah.
Good name.
Yeah.
It's like, but you got just enough Bruce to keep it going along, which I thought was clever.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think that's the thing. This movie does a better job of mitigating that. I mean, Paul Johansson, I was trying to think of who he was as the bad guy, like with his voice and everything. Will Arnett's voice came to mind, but there was somebody else that I really felt like the way he was, was like, we're going to start the great liberation and you're going to be free, brother, and all that stuff. And his hair's like kind of all over the place. And, he's this big imposing figure
not
anyway.
Bruce Stern, but like a Wings Hauser or a Will Arnett.
Yeah.
I'm convinced Will Arnett's voice he can't be that deep.
No.
He's acting more to the camera.
Yeah.
If you watch Lego Masters, I see the ads for it on Tubi.
I see the ads for it too, right? Because Tubi's owned by Fox. I didn't realize that. That's why we get all these ads for the Masked Singer and Lego thing and
what's with Snake Oil?
Snake Oil, right? Exactly.
I know that's a game that I play with my cousins. It's kind of funny. It's good to have. It's good for your imagination. I think it's a funny game.
Yeah,
but that they made a game out of that. I haven't watched it yet. I was like,
no, I didn't even watch any of this stuff. It's like
I don't care. Well, okay, so who's like the singing pineapple, Ricky Lake?
Right,
like,
right,
okay,
exactly.
Great. So it's like and everyone tries to. You ever see like clips of Masked Singer? It drives me nuts.
Yeah,
that sounds like Miley Cyrus. No, that sounds like that sounds like Billie Eilish. Oh, that sounds like Dua Lipa. No, it's just it's just Steve Sanders in a talking pineapple suit. It's like
exactly.
It's like.
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe is that the joke of the show? They make these stupid. I don't never really watched it.
No, there's a whole cadre of TV programs. And I said programs. I sound like an old person who grew up like in the 30s. Like you're watching your TV program, son. It's like, but there's a whole thing. Of, like,
I see Sean Connery as your dad.
Right. You're watching your TV program, son.
Yeah. Hey, that's really good.
You can't die, really McLeod. Yeah. I have to reset it. I always have to reset it with "You can't die, McLeod." Now, I guess if I was doing a Connery impression, it would be like every few sentences I'd be like, "You can't die, McLeod." And it's like
that's a pitch perfect impression.
Yeah. Because
I just rewatched Highlander like a month or two ago, and I was like, "This sounds just like him." I mean, like,
yeah. It's the idea of his character that he was like a Mexican Spaniard with a Scottish accent. Right? Was that what it was?
We're lucky to have that.
No, Egyptian Spaniard. Sorry, Egyptian Spaniard with a Scottish accent.
And I wish he was in part 2. I wish he was in part 4. It'd be amazing if Sean Connery was in Endgame. It's like,
yes. Well, because I remember they brought him back in part 2, and I remember it's funny. When the internet went first, when the World Wide Web and the internet was first kind of taking off, a friend of ours, like his dad was into computers. His dad essentially like all the businesses in our small town in Kittery, Maine. His dad, like a lot of times, he was putting computers. Because I remember one of the video stores still did the receipt on the nail thing, and he was joking about how he. Yeah, he was joking about how he couldn't convince them to computerize their setup. Like they just would refuse to go to computers. So until they were done as a company, they just had the receipt on the nail. But I remember he was using he was kind of on the internet a little bit sooner, and he would find stuff on there that would just blow my mind. And one of them was like somebody wrote a thesis paper connecting the Highlander movies and the TV show. And of course the biggest challenge is how do you fit part 2 in all of that stuff? Because it's like,
that's true.
It made no sense. Yeah, so right. It was like the planet had like there was like a whole thing with the planet.
Zor.
Right, Zor. Yeah, right. Zeist or something like that.
Zeist, that's it. Yeah,
right.
planet Zeist.
And then Earth had like a protective layer over it, and then like somehow Connery was able to come back to life, and he was like just suddenly appeared again. It was I don't know how you make that make sense, but on the other hand, you almost like it's almost good that it doesn't make sense because it's got Sean Connery in it.
If you got Sean Connery in it, usually he does deliver. I know it's the Sean Connery podcast today.
Right, exactly. I know.
Because we're talking about, okay, so will I recommend Detective Night? What is one? Redemption?
Redemption, yeah.
I think that Redemption, yes, I would actually recommend it if you, because it really wasn't that bad. I was very surprised.
It was much better than the first one. I mean, the first one had, and again, the only thing that hurts us a little bit is that we still get like too much of this Bo Mershoff, Casey Rhodes character. And it's like, I don't really care about him enough to make any of that part of it important.
When he was dropping by. Like, where's my Lachlan Monroe?
Right, exactly. That was the decision that they made, though. I think that was a really solid one, was to diminish the Rhodes character and really give us more Monroe and more Paul Johansson. And then, of course, Bruce Willis's character, they sprinkle him in enough that it works too, right? That we don't miss him enough. Like a lot of times with Bruce Willis, you miss him, right? It's just like,
where's Bruce?
Right, exactly. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna, hey, Johnny Drama, my shift's over, so you take over, and then I'll see you again in 45 minutes.
He goes to that bar,
right?
It's not a bar, it's like a hallway,
right, exactly.
And a wire room. That was great.
Wire room, yeah. So everybody who's curious what we're talking about here is wire room, where that's essentially what happens, but. I think they do a good job of putting Willis in here, and I think Willis himself, like they also mitigate, of course, the health issues that he's dealing with his ability to speak and say things by just having him be a presence, because he's still, even though he had trouble with words and saying things, and I've heard like that's even gotten worse now that he really can't say much at all, but he still has a presence, and
exactly, he has that great screen presence we all love and enjoy.
Yeah, and they leaned on that.
Oh, go ahead. He did. He did a good job. Oh, go ahead, please.
No, that's all I said was just they leaned on that part.
Because I was thinking, we watched all these Bruce movies. Like, well, what are the best Bruce movies from I'll call it the Skid era?
Right.
It's like,
Skid era. And
I don't know. I was thinking maybe Marauders and maybe, Precious Cargo gets an automatic pass because it has, Zach Morris.
Right.
So it's like, that might be the top one that has Zach freaking Morris.
Right.
He shoots people in the movies. I need to watch Precious Cargo again.
Yeah.
It's like,
I
love that movie so much? I don't know. I don't love Precious Cargo, but it's something about Precious Cargo.
Well, it's funny because I did that one with Sean Malloy, who does the I Must Break This podcast, and he was like, oh man, Bruce Willis, he's shitting on his legacy, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of true. We didn't know about the health issues at that time. We didn't know,
Well, that's an interesting point because that came out a while ago, right now. I hate to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like he didn't. I think we just thought he was just lazy.
Right. Like, we thought he was mailing it in, which it's not inconceivable. We got Seagal,
no,
right?
It's not at all. So it's like I think he's mailing this in. I think then it's like, oh no, because you never think he wasn't mailing it in because you got Set Up, you got Fire of Fire, you got these 50 Cent productions.
That's right.
It's like, oh, he must be just hitting the skids.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, there's more to it. He had made like a 10. Oh, what's that one? Trauma Center. Did you see that one? I think it's Steve Guttenberg also.
Oh, I think you're right.
Nikki Whalen and Bruce Willis and Steve Guttenberg's.
Like, yeah. I mean, he was making like legitimate stuff up until like I don't know. I'm trying to think like when
he read too.
Right, because you're right. There's Trauma Center. That wasn't that long ago. That was 2019. He's doing voice work for the Lego movie. That's right. He was in Glass in 2019. That was an M. Night Shyamalan film.
I think 2019 was maybe the last of the Bruce. Being okay enough.
Yeah, Motherless Brooklyn.
All these other ones.
Yeah,
I heard that. I hear he's kind of not good in that.
Okay, all right. Well, then we'll leave that one alone.
There's that Bruce. I have to watch it. I don't know. It seems a little. I don't know. It seems like it tries too hard because Edward Norton. Yeah. He has like Tourette syndrome, and it's like no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like no. Can you make it like a regular movie like The Town?
Oh yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
I almost bought it at Goodwill for $2. I thought, well, I don't want to deal with Edward Norton doing fake Tourette's.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, the other thing too, right, was with that is that he kind of went into the fact that as an actor himself, he just pulled as many names as he could to help him make that movie.
He got everyone to be in that, but I think the idea of it's good, but if we didn't have like this stupid like disease that makes no sense for the characters, like it's like just be like a normal person having like a detective story, be like Live by Night, which is also good. Which I thought was okay. Did you see that? Benjamin Affleck. That's what I call him.
Oh yes, I didn't see that one. I saw The Town, but I didn't see that. I
know
that.
Town's a really
good
movie.
Yeah,
like,
The
that's
Town.
actually really good. Yeah. Live by Night's not bad though. But it could. I think maybe Ben Affleck said he maybe had a drinking problem while he was making it. It's like he did look a little odd in it. It's like it's like his suit is a little, to say, tight. So just like But yeah, I think I would check out Live by Night. So Ben Affleck, he needs to go straight to video. He got close.
We're close, right? Somehow he managed to redeem. He pulled the Connery redemption without the skids, right? He was on the skids, but he wasn't making movies. Is that what it? Or I guess
he made
the Batman
Man About
thing?
Town.
Yeah.
You ever see that movie? That's one straight to video. I was like, Ben Affleck's going straight to video.
Right.
And it's like, and then there's like a comedy which I watched. It was watchable enough. If you ever see it, it's got John Cleese. Cleese should be in action movies, by the way.
He should.
He's so old. It's like, I guess Monty Python and the Holy Grail is almost an action movie. People getting their arms cut off, in a comical way.
Right. Right. It was an action comedy. We could say, right?
Comedy. And, Ben Affleck got really close. And I hear Vin Diesel was going to go straight to video for things, and he somehow got away with it.
So you know what it was with him? If we think about Vin Diesel, it was that fourth Fast and Furious movie.
Yes,
because he wanted to make more than one, and the studio was like, "No, this one's got to work before we do anything." And if that movie fails, right, then he's direct to video. But then, not only was it successful, it was successful enough to get the fifth one, and the fifth one was a huge runaway success.
Yes,
it was. That's how close he was. It was Fast and Furious 4, and the person I give the most credit to for that was Paul Walker, because Paul Walker is fantastic in that fourth movie. With the nicely tailored suits and the foot chase scenes and all that stuff. Like he really brings it and sort of like carries Diesel through that movie. And Diesel was that was the movie. That was it. Fast and Furious. I think it was just called Fast and Furious, right?
That was the fourth one. It was just
Yeah, it hinges on like one thing a lot of times. Like we think about Mark Dacascos, right? If Crying Freeman was released in the theaters here in the U.S. and then Double Dragon was made better, right? Suddenly he's like a big time action star, but instead neither of those happened. Or like Cynthia Rothrock, right? She's supposed to do a movie with Stallone that never happened. It's like there's always that one thing. Yeah, it can go either way.
I know, it's interesting how that works out, and it's like, because I'm looking at Ben Affleck. I mean, he was this close. I mean, he already touched the waters with Man About Town. Yeah. Then somehow he got away with it, but it's like,
because it was close. You know what it was too with him. I think the thing with him was they took a chance on having him play Batman, and it was like a huge thing. Remember when they talked about Ben Affleck's playing Batman? He can't be Batman, but he was good, and the fact that he was good was enough to push him over the edge. I think if that hadn't worked out, like if that Batman Superman movie, because it only worked because people, I think if people had watched it and said like it's good, but I don't like Affleck as Batman, or he became a joke, that would have been it for him, and we would be seeing him, with a Grecian formula mustache in Section 8 and stuff like that.
He'd be in Section 9.
Section 9, right? Exactly.
Because he's in this new movie, Ben Affleck. It's called Hypnotic. I feel like this is as close as you're gonna get right now, because
right.
Well, first, I hear it's not very good, but you got Affleck and you got Jeff Fahey.
Yeah.
And William Fichtner. It's like, okay, and I hear it's like time travel or something.
Yeah.
It's like,
and Robert Rodriguez directed it.
Yeah, it's like, that sounds good. I think I'm gonna watch it soon. Not at the moment. Let's
see what we get for numbers on this, because it might be like, it did 15 million in the box office. So it was like
Hypnotic did. Wow, that's
Hypnotic. Yeah, so it was worldwide. So in the U.S. it was only like 4.5 million, but
because the production company is called Ketchup Entertainment. Spelled like the condiment. Like,
right? Is that Robert Rodriguez's thing?
Yeah. Oh no, I think they just had production or distribution problems.
Yeah.
It's like Ketchup Entertainment. It's like, let us entertain you. It's like that VHS company.
Yeah. I mean, Fichtner is an interesting one too, right? Because he's like, Fichtner's one of those ones who's like,
he goes back and forth.
Yeah, he does everything, right? And it's like,
Yeah,
you know what you're getting with a Fitchner performance, and you just sort of just stick him in the film and just be like, do your Fitchner thing. He's someone who I think in 20 years he's going to be the Bruce Dern that we enjoy right now.
Oh, for sure. Right now, he hasn't really had a lot of good roles lately. Because Drive Angry, but I thought he was kind of wacky in that.
Yes, right, exactly.
It's okay. So I guess that's the end for Bruce on Detective Night
Yeah, I mean,
Redemption,
really,
Revenge.
yeah, I think the only other stuff that I had on this one was that again, I think Paul Johansson as a baddie, I think he underscores the fact that these movies need to have good baddies. I think Michael Eklund as Winna was not at the level of Paul Johansson in this film, and I think that also played a big part in this movie working. I think that you got to have somebody strong as the baddie, and with a Willis film, you can lean on that baddie and mitigate the fact that he's not going to be in it as much.
That's a great point.
Yeah. I can't think of who I had in my. So this is the thing, because I was watching this and I was like, oh man, he's really pulling this actor for his performance as the baddie. And I got on today and I was like getting ready to kind of script out kind of what I wanted to say about this movie, and I was like, who is that actor I thought he sounded like again? And I can't think of it now.
Well, if you remember, get back to
we
could do another pod.
We could always update it, yeah, for sure. The other thing I guess too is the fact that this movie's a sequel, and I don't know what you think, but yes, it helps to know at least the Casey Rhodes part of it. It helps to know a little bit more if you watch the first one, but I don't think you necessarily need the first one if you just happen to grab this one.
That's actually a really good point. You can just kind of watch it.
Yeah.
We'll have to watch the third and last installment eventually.
I know that'll probably be our next one for Willis. And I'm trying to think how many Willises we have left overall. I mean, we've got a good amount left. I think we've got like.
Oh, we do, because I know we have Assassin and this other Detective Night.
We've got Assassin, the other Detective Night. We've got let's see here. Well, we've got the Fortress movies. We haven't done the Fortress yet.
Oh, that's right. I've been having trouble getting a hold of the Fortress movies.
Yeah, it's always like one's available but one's not, or it's usually like the second one's available but not the first one.
I know. I'll have to buy them or something. It's like I almost bought it at Game Exchange. Like I don't know.
I know. I got. I
was on a tight budget that day, so it's like.
There's the infamous Midnight in the Switchgrass. That one.
Oh, I did see that already.
You've seen it? All right, so I've got to watch it. Maybe that's one we can do at some point. And we've got Patrick Muldoon in Deadlock. We've got a good amount here. So we'll probably take us another year to get through the rest of the.
That is true. But once we get, it's still fun to do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny. Like we did Survive the Game, but we need to do Survive the Night. Like we've got there's like all kinds of odd ones. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. But at the very least, we've got Detective Night Independence. That's the third in the series. That one is still on Tubi, so that's probably that could be a next one for us. And like you said, an Assassin, kind of the last one. Sort of really, really nailing that legacy. But I think this one you can really tell that he's got limitations due to his health issues. But I think the movie does a really good job of mitigating those and keeping him.
He hit it well, I thought.
Yeah, exactly.
And I will say that on the poster of this Redemption, he's wearing the badge.
Right. Yes,
it's like my favorite one. It's like I think it's acts of violence. It's like okay, here we go again. Here comes your.
Yes.
Then
acts of violence could be an interesting one to do because that was one that really got me.
It.
That one I fell for. Yeah, I saw it too, and
I thought it was all right. Maybe I gave it a pass.
It's longer. That's one thing. But the other thing too is that I watched the trailer first, and I was like, well, there's no way based on this trailer that they don't have a lot of Willis in the film, and they didn't have a lot of Willis in the film.
They did. Well, they got your Cole Hauser, which I think we talked about this in the last pod, or did we? It was Dead Man's Hand. I found that as Cole Hauser and Steven Dorff.
Oh, right. Western. Yes. That just sounds amazing. Yeah.
And it's like Cole Hauser appears. It's like Cole Hauser appears. It says on the back. It's like
Cole Hauser appears. I love that.
Yeah, Jack Kilmer. And it's also, let's not forget about Milo Gibson.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you watch the Milo Gibson movie? It's called All the Devil's Men or something like that.
No, I haven't seen that.
It was good. I mean, also, I guess Milo, I was looking at Mel Gibson. Like, what's up with Milo Gibson?
Yeah.
And I guess Milo is in a movie called, here it is. Oh, lost the title. And the answer to that is Manifest West.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Western.
Yeah.
It also has William Fichtner.
Oh, we got to get Fichtner. Yeah, Fichtner. Yeah.
No, it has, am I wrong about this? Hold on.
I mean,
I said William Fichtner.
if you say if a movie,
Michael Kudlitz.
oh, okay,
and Tim Heidecker. That's what
okay. I was gonna say
Tim Heidecker.
If you pick I was gonna say, if you pick a movie that came out in the last 10 years and you say it's got William Fichtner, you're 50% chance of being right.
Yeah, right. I was right. I was thinking of Tim Heidecker, which is weird to say. I mean, I never watched Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie because I hear it's kind of gross.
Yeah.
So I'm not really interested, but like.
Yeah.
I see that Tim Heidecker is making these movies, which is kind of funny to me. It's like, okay. And what I think there's one more Milo. See, Milo and Mel should be in a movie together. It's right there. They're the same. They're father and son.
Right. Yeah. I love the Tim Heidecker thing. I do like the idea too of like Tim Heidecker like the idea of like Heidecker being like a term that you use, would you use some kind of high decker, like something like an old term that
I can totally see him being like a rich guy. Yeah, what a high decker this guy is.
Right, exactly. Oh, you're walking around here like you're some kind of high decker, Like,
I can totally see that. I can totally see someone saying that like in a New York slum.
Right,
it's like street. It's like so that's great. Yeah, so I would check out All the Devils, man. I should maybe it's on Tubi.
Nice.
Because that has William Fichtner. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, that has William Fichtner and. I guess that's it. But
yeah, I mean, Tubi is still pretty strong. I mean, it's interesting because they've been bought up by Fox. So it was interesting to think if like maybe like something changed with that. But actually, the movies have been pretty much the same. It's just now you get more commercials for Masked Singer and Lego Wars or something.
Oil and Lego Wars. It's like
So
I don't get so they build the Legos, so that must take forever.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't understand Lego Masters Wars, but it's like. Is it would they have to build it in a certain amount of time?
Maybe it's like the baking thing. Because I've never seen but I think like maybe like a cooking show where it's like
you're talking about baking Legos.
They put it in the oven.
Baking?
No, I was saying like with a cooking show where they put it in the oven and then the completed one is sitting there all ready to go that you can maybe.
You should have a challenge on Lego Masters to take off your shoes and try not to step on the Lego of your socks, and then you don't want to do that.
Right. Like throw Legos around the house and like
Can Will Arnett jump through all the Legos without stepping on them?
Right. Oh man, that one really got me there. Yeah.
Yeah, that got me. I'm Job on Arrested Development. I have a deep voice. It's like. I guess I don't know. Something about Will Arnett. He's all right. I guess.
No, but you're right. The voice thing is a trip. It's funny with the Legos, stepping on the Legos, because I think my dad had 3 or 4 toys that he hated the idea of us having.
What was that?
So Legos was one, right? Because you'd step on them. Play-Doh because it would get on things and then dry and like on the carpet and stuff like that. So he hated Play-Doh and he hated bubbles because remember the container bubbles with the wand? Yeah, because they would get all over the place. So those were his 3 toys that he just was like, I can't stand any of these toys. Like, don't bring them in the house. And then it's funny, like, so my nephew, when he was born and he started playing with Legos, it was kind of like no big deal. And it's like, no, they're still on the floor. But I guess it's when your grandkids do it, it's not as bad as when your kids do it.
Interesting theory there.
Yeah.
I remember I had a Stretch Armstrong, and then of course you pull it apart too much, and he's made out of glue.
Right.
Or whatever that weird stuff is. Hey, what is that stuff?
Right.
Yes. Like, hey, he stretched too far. You think? I thought they were gonna make a Stretch Armstrong movie. Remember, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna get Taylor Lautner to play Stretch Armstrong or something.
Yeah, what happened was I think you only have a short window for those nostalgia movies, and if you don't get them in time, the audience that you want to watch them ages out.
Great point. But look at Barbie. Maybe with Barbie being a big success, which is, as I say, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But then because Barbie's a weird movie because it's like it's not really that stupid. See, and then the corporate people, it's like, wait, people like Barbie and other toys? Let's make Hot Wheels the movie.
Oh yeah, He-Man. There's gonna be a new He-Man movie probably. It's gonna be like all those toys are gonna. Yeah, suddenly.
They're not gonna be as kind of clever as Barbie is.
Right.
So it's like,
what's the thing? Yeah, wasn't that like, I'm trying to think, like in the early 90s, like there was a TV show adaptation. It wasn't Brady Bunch, because that came later, but there was a movie that was made. It was Dragnet. The Tom Hanks one?
Car 54, Where Are You?
Well, it's ever Car 54. That was like one of the ones that was like, oh man, I can't believe they made this movie. And it was like, it was like Buster Poindexter, the hot guy, David Johansen was in it. And I mean, it was like, the Flintstone movie they had with John Goodman, and it's like Dennis the Menace movie. It was like kind of like all of a sudden it was just like a rich movie.
And Flintstones are very weird movies to me.
Yes. Yeah.
I haven't watched them in a while, but I remember them. I think I almost rewatched the Flintstones. Like, I think this movie's a lot weirder than you might think. Because it's like, because Kyle MacLachlan's evil. He's like an evil.
Right.
And like Halle Berry's evil. It's like, why are there like these villains in a Flintstones movie? But then, of course, it's Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas, which I've never seen. But,
that was the thing. All those movies had to have evil people in them. Dennis the Menace had an evil person.
Yeah,
it was like an evil.
Lloyd.
Right,
he's
right.
Like a serial killer or something. It's like I'm gonna kill Dennis the Menace. I can't do Christopher Lloyd.
Right. Like, my buddy used to do a really great Christopher Lloyd impression. I remember we would visit because he did all kinds of impressions. He had all kinds of really great ones.
Well, he did. You're a crazy person, right?
Yeah. Yes, my buddy. Yeah, that was the best because nobody knew. I was the only one person who knew who that was, and so. I remember his parents, his mom's cousin was visiting. So his mom's cousin, his parents, they'd been drinking, and we were playing Nintendo in the other room, and they called us in. They were kind of a little bit wasted. They're like telling him like, come on, do Jim from Taxi, and he's like, I don't know, but then like they were kind of like again like they're goofy. My buddy turned to me and be like, you're like a crazy person, and they were like they just were like kind of just like stone faced, like they had no idea what he was doing with that one, and then the other thing was when his dad wanted him to do Bobcat Goldthwait, he'd be like, do the guy who goes, because that's how he would always start his Bobcat. He'd be like, and that was like, that was how he,
That's good. That's funny.
I always remember that, do Jim from Taxi. That was like,
That's great. I remember Christopher Lloyd, because he gets a pass, not for Back to the Future, or To the Future, or Back for the Future. Well, he's going Back for the Future anyway. Back to the Future, which is actually it's Deadly Games. The classic program you can buy on Amazon right now for a low price. And he's the villain. He plays the Jackal, and I'm obsessed with this program. Brett, finally watched it. He's like, oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Deadly
but
Games.
There's a part in the buy it right now while we're talking. It's 13 great episodes, and there's a part like he's the villain, so he's like the Cold Steel Kit. The way he talks. When if you ever watch it, or you at least watch the beginning when he says that to the hero, you'll see like he wears like a white suit. Every Michael Hall is one of the villains. It's a masterpiece of a program, except for the one.
Good.
Well, there's one episode like, I think the budget's running out, but it's like
right.
Besides that,
yeah, that was the problem, right? Oh, I think I know this show.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it before, but yeah, definitely. I'm not sure how much is on Amazon. I mean, I could do it right now live. We should go to our next movie too.
We should. Yeah, we could take our break here. Cynthia Gibb, right, was in this one as
Cynthia
well.
Gibb.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yes,
okay.
I definitely. Right. I remember this being on. I remember this being on the air. Yeah.
I used to tape it on VA. I still have some of my old tapes, and it has a commercial for Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers.
Yes. Yes.
I have that on the tape, and it's like, because it made it look like something like action movie. It's kind of funny. Like people were just jumping through windows.
Yes. So
I mean, I couldn't buy this when this DVD was released. Deadly Games. Oh, it's currently unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
What? I couldn't buy it fast enough. It's just like I think I did 1 day shipping. I figured I needed 1 hour shipping. I need this now. It's just like
No, this I remember this being on. It's I remember I don't remember any actual episodes, but I remember it existing. If that makes sense. I
guess it's getting rare because it's currently unavailable on Amazon, which is unfortunate. It's $150 on eBay or best offer.
Wow, yeah.
Or 126. It's like, wow, I guess I bought it at the right time.
UPN. It was UPN. Yes, okay. The UPN network. So that's right. Okay. Because the UPN network at that time, that was, there was all kinds of interesting stuff on at that time. But that was 95, 96. That was one of the first years of UPN, I believe.
There's a whole story how the show was made, too. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's very, there's some episodes that are chopped up into pieces on YouTube still.
Yeah.
But it's better to watch it all in one.
No, I got to check that out because it does look really good. I remember it. That was the thing about the UPN network at that time, right? Is that it was there was a lot of stuff kind of hanging around there. And it was the other thing too is that if you didn't get to a show soon enough, it was going to be gone. Though it's interesting. I think UPN cycled through shows quicker than what was the WB, and then they merged to become the CW. But because it seemed like the WB, I think that Nick Freno, Licensed Teacher, was on the WB, and that one lasted forever.
Because we needed like a Jim Carrey knockout. I bet the show is.
Right.
I bet it's mildly funny. I have to check it out again, but
yes, yeah,
because Steve Harvey show is very popular. And then
that's
remember
right.
these. This is like Everwood. Then we should go to our next movie. But if you look up Everwood, which is a high quality program, and
oh right, with Treat Williams, yeah.
Yeah, and I finally watched the complete series after he passed away. Why does he have to be gone? But
I know.
But besides that, you remember these like ads for like Dawson's Creek and
yes,
it's like WB Mondays. It's like
that's right, because it was like Dawson's
teams.
in a wasn't it Dawson and Buffy that were
Buffy,
on?
and they have like they're at, on some sort of like like stories, like 5-story building, like walking inside the frame with like these lights, like get ready for Dawson. And they walk past really fast.
Oh yes, that's right. They had all the stars, like kind of like these little like candid things. Yes, that kind of deal. Yes, that's right.
It's so great. It's so great. We're lucky to have that because it's like.
That's right.
Well, we'll have to go.
Why don't we? Yeah, we'll take a break here. Why don't we take a break? Now we're getting nostalgic for the WB, so that always helps. But we'll take a break here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about Invincible with Marko Zaror, Johnny Strong, and directed by Daniel Zirilli. We'll be back in 1 second.
Be right back.
All right, we are back, and Ty actually found something like kind of a going back to the WB conversation for us here.
I'll play it. Here we go.
Yeah.
This is the WB. This is the WB Television Network. The network for young adults. This is the WB. Established and creatively strong.
You get James Vanderbeek at the beginning, like, this is the WB. It's like...
yes. That's right, because I think that's how they opened their programming, right? Like, that's what they did.
Well, yeah, before they start your Dawson's and your Jamie Foxx show and all that stuff, because he's in the promo, too. Yeah. And it's like, I think... I didn't see Buffy yet, but I just watched it for a second and watched the full ad. But I just thought, this is WB.
Well, because you know what I was thinking, too, I was thinking Buffy and Dawson's were the same night, but actually they had, was it Felicity? Was that the show with Kerry Russell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they that was the one that they had on Monday nights with Dawson, I think. And then...
Yes. And insert joke about her cutting her hair for season 2 here. It's just like
exactly.
Yeah, we've heard about that for 20 years now. It's just like why don't you do that? Oh, I mean, it's like how many seasons was Felicity on? I mean, like
not that many, like a few.
It wasn't okay.
It was a few. I think it was a few. We'd always because her big thing. What's her show? That The Americans, is that the show?
Right. I mean, I like Kerry Russell.
Yeah.
Just, maybe this Felicity's not for me, or maybe I'll fall into a trap one of these days. But
you know what it was about Felicity?
84 episodes. Wow.
Oh, okay. So it actually was on for a little bit longer
4
than I
seasons
thought.
are on Hulu.
Yeah.
It's like, do I care? I mean, like,
so
I don't know.
So that's what it was. 4 seasons. So actually, I had 3 seasons, not that long, but 4 seasons. It's interesting the difference between 3 and 4 seasons, right? Like 3 seasons is not that long, but 4 seasons feels like, wow, you really had something there.
I mean, like, and then you're pushing it on like 6 or 7 because I've been still watching Pretty Little Liars. It's like, it's so much filler still. It's just like, I'm on season 4. People want it. People still care. And not much has happened really still because you have to wait like the whole time for something to happen.
Right.
And
right.
Every episode, then the character named A like does something weird, and then it goes to the next episode. Like, why don't you just do that in the beginning or in the middle? Every single time it's the same ending. Every time.
Yeah.
It has all this like kind of basic dialogue. It's like, well, the prom was like yesterday, but you didn't go to the prom. Why didn't you call me on the phone? Because I was like getting a new dress. And it's like, oh my goodness. You know that A is after us, right? It's like, yes, A is after you. It's just like, every time they say, like, you know what, A is after us, right? It's like, yes.
Right, exactly.
And why am I still watching it? I don't know, but because the dialogue is so terrible, it's kind of a laugh. But the worst dialogue of all time on TV show is called Stitchers.
Yes.
You remember Stitchers?
Yes. Was that like a time travel show?
Kind of, yeah, but it's like every piece of dialogue is like this mumbo jumbo of like science.
Right.
And it's like you just want to like just turn off the TV as fast as you can because it's like, wow, this is like really dumb. I mean, like, this is dumb.
I know.
But something about it kept me going. I think I could. I only sat through a season. Like, I can't deal with it anymore. But yeah, Pretty Little Liars keep me going. Like,
yeah.
And I'm gonna watch Prison Break soon. People, I've never seen Prison Break.
Yeah, I've seen some episodes of it. So I so like I haven't like full out like like I haven't watched like the like kind of start to finish, but I've seen some episodes because it used to be on Fox. I remember, so that's where I would see it. Yeah.
Do you remember a show on Fox? And we should probably talk about Invincible.
Yeah.
It was called Gang Related. It came out about 2014, 2015.
Yeah, because it was based off of the movie, right?
It was? Oh, okay.
I think it was based off the movie that that Tupac and and Jim Belushi did.
It was good. I forget Method Man. Actually, it was a pretty good show. And it's the Chicago Code / Terriers.
Right.
Terriers, you can think it might still be on Hulu.
Yeah.
You ever watch that? Donald Logue? It's really good. That's a high quality program.
Oh yes, I did. Yes, yeah. Because Donald Logue, he did. I mean, beyond those, having really great takes in those VH1, like
he's like Gary the cab driver,
right? Yeah, the cab driver thing. And I remember like on VH1, he was like I love the '70s, I love the '80s. He was always those VH1 shows where they would like talk about a year and
that was fun. Same with Best Week Ever. Remember that one?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I used to tape that. I mean, I used to tape The Soup. Because I've had a DVR for a long time now. I don't remember taping Best Week Ever, but I remember taping The Soup. And I remember I saved them all up. This is a while now. Soup's almost gone now. But there was an especially vicious episode of The Soup where like Joe McHale is like destroying every single person on MTV, every single person on E, every single person. It was like vicious.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't remember this one, but it was like towards the end of the run. It was like it was destroying Kim Kardashian, all those peeps, or Lauren Conrad. It's like and Spidey or Spencer or what Heidi and Spencer. It's like
I don't. So the one I remember watching it towards the end, and I remember one of the things was one of the things I remember on like kind of because towards the end before Joel McHale left the show, there was a show like a public access thing or something, some kind of like low budget show called Gay USA, and he would always call it Gay USA, like making a joke that it was like a Japanese show. And he would, and I guess the people that did the show found out that he was making fun of it, and they like cracked back. And he was just like, fine, I won't talk about your show anymore, right? And it's like not realizing that like he's giving you, because like my wife and I watched it because we saw it in the Super, like this show looks hilarious. And then actually we watched it was boring, like they didn't really say anything. It was like whoever the intern was that had to watch that show to find funny things, they were really putting in some work because we couldn't handle it. But I remember he was just like, I think he even said something like, yeah, they made a comment about another show, so that was it. Like they stopped talking about it.
Let me find that one thing. I can't remember the title now, but give me 1 second. I know it's great podcasting here. They used to make fun of the show. Oh, give me 1 second. I wish I thought off the top of my head. Where is it?
Well, that's the thing with the Soup,
okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it. So they used to make fun of Viva Laughlin. Remember that?
Oh,
show?
Yes.
So, that clip is still online. You gotta look that up on the Soup. It's so funny. Because they show like Viva Laughlin like singing on top of like an escalator, saying "I'm still standing." What's that, Elton John? I think.
Right.
And it's like, and they have a big close up of Joe McHale's like, "Why would you cancel that? We need that." It's like.
I gotta
you gotta find the clip. It's so funny. I sometimes I go back to that. It's so brilliantly done.
Yeah.
Okay, we gotta talk about. I see. We're not talking about Invincible, the next movie, because
it's a bit of an interesting one. It's got some interesting things with it. So
maybe
should I give it a quick synopsis and we'll dive in on this? So we wanted to do some more Daniel Zirilli after Phoenix. I think Phoenix was one that we really enjoyed. Maybe it was for different reasons than were initially expected with the film itself, but either way, we enjoyed it. We want to do some more Daniel Zirilli, give him another shot here. And Invincible is one I think that had been on both of our radars. So yeah. So it's got Johnny Strong, who I didn't realize that there's a whole like kind of fandom around him, because my understanding of Johnny Strong was just the guy who said "Roads closed, Pizza Boy" in the first Fast and Furious movie. But no, apparently. He does all kinds of, but he plays this head of security or something for these rich people who are essentially. This is essentially a remake of Universal Soldier, right?
He's like super soldiers,
right? So they're creating these super soldier they're using like nanotechnology to essentially make people if they get injected with it, they can heal faster and they have super strength. And so Marko Zaror is a special ops soldier who almost dies on a mission, and they inject him with this stuff, but it messes with his brain and he breaks out of the site. Now he's just going around beating people up and eating all of their food and collecting police officers' guns. That's essentially what they're doing. And
it's very Universal Soldier,
right,
that's,
exactly.
Like, I just want to eat my hamburger, or whatever it is. Like, I just want to eat my waffle, or whatever it is.
Right, yeah, it's like, stop telling me about The Profiler. I don't care about that show. I want to eat,
And of course, you got Jerry Orbach. It's like, Dolph Lundgren was a super soldier. Let me go back to Lenny, please. It's like
exactly right. Yeah, I mean, this movie could have used some Jerry Orbach, which I know unfortunately was no longer with us when this was made. But
that'd be great if he came back, or like maybe his son. Isn't there a son of Orbach actor?
Oh, there might be. I think you might be right.
So.
Yes. Yeah.
It'd be kind of funny because you remember, we haven't had a Universal Soldier movie in a while. Since Day of Reckoning. We could stop there because I like that movie, but
yeah. I mean,
almost trying to bring it back, but it just doesn't work. But go ahead.
No, because this is a similar thing that Zirilli does with remember with Phoenix, right? He essentially takes John Wick, right? And has a female star in it. So it's essentially a similar idea, but using a female star. This, he takes Universal Soldier and kind of makes it like kind of a modern thing where it's like using nanotechnology as opposed to like some kind of, but it's a similar idea. And so Johnny Strong's character as the head of security, he gets beaten up, has his spine broken. So of course they inject him with the stuff too. And so now there's sort of like this thing where they're going to fight each other. The other thing too is that Johnny Strong is dating or has an ex-wife who who was a singer, and of course her voice when she sings is completely different from what she sounds like when she's talking.
It's so weird. And of course you got our buddy Michael Pare as Mort.
Yes, who doesn't share any scenes with anybody else in the movie. I think he's just sort of like, which is interesting because they did a similar technique in the movie Renegades that Zirilli directed, where it was like one of those things where like they were able to get Pare in the film, and so the screenwriter Tom Jolliffe, I talked to him about this. He said like, hey, with Zirilli on the project, we got Pare, so or Pare, can you write some scenes with him? And he actually did a really great job of writing in Pare's scenes so that like it fit with the movie. This was kind of like, I mean, it was a little bit okay, but you knew he had just been it felt like he was tacked on, I guess.
He felt tacked on. It needed a lot more Michael Pare because I wish Michael Pare was a super soldier.
Yes.
Yeah, I know he's getting a little older, but I bet he could have pulled it off. It's like, that's the problem with this movie. It takes a long time to get going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you have to wait a long time for Johnny Strong. It's such a great name. And Marko Zaror to fight.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about Johnny Strong. I remember when you remember the Encore Action channel?
Yes. Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, I go on the elliptical machine. It's like, oh, what's an Encore Action? I just take a scroll. It's like I need to take something. And one of them was Saints and Sinners.
Yes. They talked about that movie. I haven't seen it, but
I remember enjoying it. It was good. I mean, he could be like Luke. He could be the new Messner, or he could be with Messner. Messner or Luke Goss.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought this movie was a bit weak overall, because it took a long time to get going, and it has, let's just say, a nowhere to run type ending. If you've seen that Van Damme movie.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like, no.
Right. Well, here's one of the issues that I found with this movie that shouldn't have been an issue. That's really interesting is that Chaos. Was it Wych? I don't know how to say it.
You can pronounce that. Also because I can't.
Yeah, but we'll refer to him as Chaos. If you know who we're talking about, right? He's the cinema. Right. Kaosayananda, I guess that's maybe the best way to say it. But Chaos is he's the cinematographer for this. And if you watch his movies, if you've seen any of his movies, right, when it comes to cinematography, he is someone who is very much like, he's very like human driven, and he takes a unique take on cinematography. And for a movie like this, it was like the scenes were really interesting because it's like, he is like very like, I don't know, like, he would draw on people longer, or he would take interesting angles for them, or, a lot of that kind of stuff that would be really good in like a real indie kind of film. But for this, it almost gives the film a level of quality that it almost shouldn't have had, right? Because then it kind of it made it kind of hard to figure out, like, am I taking it seriously, or am I thinking, this is like a low budget actioner?
That's actually a really good point, because it looked good, but the movie itself was like, what the heck's going on? Because I wanted to care. Actually, I was caring for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it fell off a lot.
Yeah.
And then you got.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So we'll get back to my notes. It's not to go ahead on the pod.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know, because it had a lot of repetitive dialogue. It's like,
yes.
Did you notice that? It's like, well, you're a soldier, a super soldier now, and you hurt your back, and you need like to find your wife, and then he's like, oh, yes, we know. It's just like,
yeah.
And it was like, okay, I'm checked out. It's just like,
because this is a problem with Zirilli's movies. I think that we saw with Phoenix as well. These scripts don't really seem like they're getting rewrites, and so you're looking at dialogue that really feels like it's like the first time through. Like maybe typos are getting cleaned out, but actually like how the dialogue sounds. And the thing is with the actors involved with this, I think like they're good actors. We have some solid actors, and we've got Johnny Strong is solid. Pare, of course, does his parts. Sally Kirkland, of course, we get her in this. But like a lot of the actors, they seem to be kind of newer. Just like we, with Phoenix, right? Where I keep wanting to say Ava Marie Saint, and we're gonna say that the whole time. Yeah, but she's a newer actor as well, right? She's new to this as well, and the problem is with newer actors, they can't play with the dialogue. They don't have like the competency or the ability to play with that dialogue enough. Or like, that movie Renegades, that was written by screenwriter Tom Jolis. So he kind of put more time into it. Natalie Ava Marie, that's her name.
Right.
And so it really stands out, like you said, that it's repetitive dialogue, that things seem out of place, or they're said in ways that maybe they shouldn't have.
It was getting like, this is getting a little bit
like
a slog to me.
Right.
It's like, and all you have to do is have Marko Zaror like fight other super soldiers, and then you have a big fight at the end with a certain thing that should happen to a certain super soldier.
Right. Exactly.
Wow, it's like a super, and that's not turn into a nowhere to run.
Right.
And it's like that's all you needed to do. And wow, it's the Vegas way of saying someone should pass away in a movie. It's like something.
Right.
But it's like what a turnaround a way of saying it. But trying to avoid spoilers. But I guess I just gave you a spoiler. But I don't know. It could have been a lot better. I mean, let me look at my notes. I mean, let me see here. Oh yeah, I did like that. It was called the Phoenix Group.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like, hey.
Right. Phoenix again. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to combine these universes together, and we're going to have Natalie Ava Marie, like Neil McDonough is going to give Natalie Ava Marie the super serum thing, and her, Johnny Strong, and Marko Zaror are going to be like a team going out and fighting people.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, that could work. Daniel Zirilli, if you're listening to us, we got some ideas for you for the next few movies.
Because at the end of Phoenix, Neil McDonough says, "Well, we have some more work for you."
Yeah.
So it's like, or she can go undercover in the Invincible kind of multiverse. It's like,
right.
I love multiverses.
Right. Like, we need a Zirilli verse. That's what we need. We need the Zirilli verse. He's got to come on, Daniel Zirilli. We've got Dolph. Dolph is in the Zirilli verse, right? If he moves acceleration, right? Then
acceleration with
I want to be in the Zirilli verse. I was happy to finally be in the Zirilli verse.
Finally. It's like, well, I see a lot of ads or not ads, but I see, because I follow Natalie Byrne on Instagram.
Yeah.
She's pushing this Till Death Do Us Part movie a lot. I want to see it. I think it has, not Jason Patrick. Oh, it is Jason Patrick. I'm thinking Aaron Eckhart. Aaron Eckhart is really, I think there's an Aaron Eckhart movie that we can watch for free. Do you have MGM Plus?
I don't know, because I think it may or may not. I think we used to be Epics, and so it may or may
Epics,
not
basically
work with with Amazon Prime. So it may be included in Amazon Prime, but it may not.
I think it's not. Well, it's not Shrapnel. What's it called? Now I gotta look it up. But I love that Aaron Eckhart's really hitting the skids.
Yeah, right.
I think he's doing a Punch Fighter now.
Is he? Oh, nice. No, I haven't seen. No, I've got it. Yeah, good old Aaron Eckhart. Yeah, I think more we can get with him, the better.
Yeah, Rumble Through the Dark is the Punch Fighter.
Nice. That does sound pretty awesome. Yeah, I like that.
Bella Thorne and Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Bella Thorne. I know. She has a Tubi movie, doesn't she, where it's like a home invasion movie or something?
Right. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Bella Thorne's a lot of interesting stuff. I watched her in The Babysitter, which is on Netflix.
Right.
Which is it's entertaining. Ambush is the title. It's an MGM Plus now. That's what it says.
Oh, that's the Eckhart film.
Yeah, Eckhart. It stars Aaron Eckhart and I'm surprised they avoid. Oh, Jonathan Rhys-Meyers.
Oh, you gotta like him.
Yeah. So and then Aaron Eckhart's really killing it right now because you got that, you got Muzzle, which I'm really excited to see.
Yeah.
Have you heard about this movie?
No, I haven't.
All right, so Aaron Eckhart's dog is killed on Skid Row, and then they kind of resurrect the dog, and the dog kills people. He has metal teeth.
Oh, nice.
I was like, that's a plot, and when can I watch this movie? Right. It's like, so, and his dog is named Socks. So he's a violent canine with titanium incisors and a mysterious past. The dog has a mysterious past. So it's like,
yeah, he's got some stuff here. You know, the interesting thing about Aaron Eckhart, I'd love to see him and Thomas Jane do some work together.
I can't tell who's who.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that'd be nice to see that.
That's what I mean. Like, it would be almost like they could be like brothers, right? You know, who like, you know, they come back, you know, that are like are fighting together or something like that.
Yeah, maybe there's like some gangs that taking over the streets. You know?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like they're, you know, I'm trying to think who, because there'd have to be someone who would play their dad, right? Some older actor that would. Bruce Dern would be their dad. That's who their dad is.
That's perfect. That's a really good segue into what we should watch next.
Right.
Oh, Invincible. Would I recommend it? No. It's like,
yeah, I think there's a few things with Invincible. I think, yeah, like you talked about, like one of the things that from a story standpoint also that I didn't like about this was that so Johnny Strong, right? He's been tasked with bringing Marko Zaror back, right? And of course he's at a disadvantage because he doesn't have the serum, right? He doesn't have the stuff in his system, and the fact that he then gets his or his back broken, and then they inject him with the serum, so now he can fight Zorro. For me, from a story standpoint, was kind of like lazy because
so lazy,
right? I mean, wouldn't it have been better if he had to figure out as just a human, right? Figure out without any spin enhancement. Right, exactly, because then it just makes it easy, because now it's just like, well, he can just outfight him, you know. It's like, and of course, not only does he not outfight him, right, but then we find out, just some spoilers here, the serum wears off after a period of time if you don't get booster shots, and so because it was wearing off on Zaror, it actually made him weaker than Johnny Strong's character, which made it even worse. Like, I think it would have been nice to have like Strong is at a complete disadvantage, and he's like, it would have been like, it's like if in Predator 2, if Danny Glover suddenly became a predator, right? Like it wouldn't have been as much fun as Glover, you know, beating a predator.
That
would
be cool, though. I will say that.
I mean, it would have been cool for sure. It would have been cool. Actually, that's a good point. That was a bad analogy, because that actually would have made that movie amazing.
That's a cool idea. You know,
right?
I would say if Arnold and Danny Glover became predators, that's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, so that was a bad analogy.
No, that's okay. I just think that's actually kind of fun.
Right, that actually would have been really cool. Yeah, so that actually, but you know what I mean, like from a story standpoint. Yeah. So between that and the fact that you've got this situation with the script where the dialogue is off, and you've got some actors that aren't going to be able to kind of fill in the gaps on that as much. You know, I think the other thing with Marko Zaror is that he is kind of this larger than life guy, and I don't.
That's a good point, by the way. Because like, you're not using him to his advantage.
Right,
you know,
right.
I always kind of, you know, he probably doesn't want to be like a dum-dum or a meathead.
Right.
But he's good at that. So
exactly. Well, because you think of a movie like Savage Dog that he's in.
Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that.
That's like a whole. And granted, you know, Jesse B. Johnson is making another level of movie from what Zirilli's doing. You know, for a variety of reasons, right? But it's like you're getting something different when you get a Jesse B. Johnson movie. But I think like the way that this was advertised, where you've got Zaror on the cover, it looked like it was going to be something different than what it ended up being. And I think the fact that it ends up being a kind of a Universal Soldier ripoff and all this, it's
disappointing. I thought it was like, I actually thought this was going to be kind of a hit.
Yeah,
because Phoenix was so goofy, you can't help but enjoy it. But it's like, it's kind of a step down. It's unfortunate, you know.
I think that the only piece of it that I really, really liked was I really liked Chaos's his cinematography. I thought it was really, really nice. But for a movie like this, it almost kind of had like an odd, you know, it's interesting to have someone of that quality do the cinematography for a movie like this. And I guess for Zirilli, like the fact that he was able to get Chaos to do his, you know, be his second unit director and his DP. that was like probably a coup for him to get him. But that was the one piece of this that I really liked. But from a story standpoint, it's not as remarkable. And like you said, I think Johnny Strong could be someone who, like you said, could be like another Luke Goss. And he doesn't do a lot of roles, but there is a sense watching this that he's kind of,
maybe he's like, because he's fourth or fifth in line, maybe because you got your Goss, he does whatever he does whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, your Messner does whatever, and then now the next script goes down to Johnny Strong.
Right.
It's like, oh, okay. So then that's why he gets kind of lesser material.
Right.
It's like,
well, because I didn't know. I only knew of him as Road Clothes Pizza Boy. That's all I knew of him for. So
I knew him from Sinners and Saints, or Saints and Sinners.
Right.
And
yeah.
I heard of this Johnny Strong, but it's hard to beat Messner.
Right.
It's a perfect comparison. I need to rewatch Ring of Death.
Yes.
I think that's still on Tubi. But yeah, for our next movies though, did you want to do Double Dern?
We could be. I don't know if we want to do Double Dern, if we want to try to get another Willis in. I don't. The one thing I would say about the Detective Nights is that the second one was not as much of a slog as the first one, and so I feel a little bit better going to the third one. Now, granted, the third one could just turn around and be sloggy on us again, but because I was worried that we were going to be doing 3 slogs, and the fact that we got a second one that wasn't a slog, that was a little bit of, it was a nice surprise, I guess.
I was about to say, it was a nice surprise, and we could do let's see, and then we could do Detective Night. We could do another Detective Night movie, or Assassin, or do you want to go back to Bruce? Do you want to go to Malky? I mean,
we got Malky on the skids as well. Yeah, Malky is definitely skidding right now. I mean, I think for sure. I think maybe we should finish off the Detective Nights, because I think
might as well.
Wrap that one up. Get get the bow on that. Right, exactly. And then maybe we could go with a Derner.
Because there's Hellblazers and Death in Texas. I hear Death in Texas is the one where people are making fun of them. Like we already have that. We already have done that already.
Right, exactly.
For American violence.
Right.
So it's like,
Sheriff.
My ice cream. Where's my ice cream?
Right. You don't know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
I bet he does say that I'm assuming he's married. But it's like, should I watch Nebraska? I know it's Bruce Dern comeback. Is it all complaining? It's like, but it's like serious complaining because it's in black and white.
Right,
it's like,
exactly.
So it's like, so we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out. I think it doesn't have Will Arnett, has the other Will.
Right.
Will Forte.
Oh, yeah. Right. The two Wills. Right. I think they did a movie together where they were trying to find a wife or something.
Yeah. I just was thinking about that. I think it's called The Brothers Solomon or something. I never saw it. I bet it has 3 to 5 laughs. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I have no idea. Yeah. Never seen it, but that's my. When I watch a comedy, it's like, okay, make me laugh at least 5 times. I'll give you a pass.
Right,
when I watched 3 Strikes, I thought it was funny enough. It caught me in a good mood.
Yeah.
But because I did watch, I said I already watched Coyote Ugly, and I watched Full of It. Did I tell you? Did I mention this in the podcast yesterday?
No, you didn't mention Full of It. No.
Okay, so in Full of It, it stars Ryan Pinkston for Punked or something.
Yeah.
You ever heard of this person?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's like a dork. So he's like a dorky looking kid. So in this movie, he plays a dorky kid, and he goes to a new school, and he's a loser. He's kind of a loser. So Craig Kilborn is in it, right. And he tells him you need to lie to be a better student or be a better person. It's like, oh, okay. So Ryan Pinkston, with this personality-free person, by the way.
Yes.
He starts to lie and things come true. It's very dumb. It's not very well written or well directed. Or you got Kate Mara, Terry Polo, and Carmen Electra, and the only funny scene. So it's like, I won't give away the funny part. I guess you have to suffer through it like I did. But it's like
this must be a direct to video, right?
It's direct to video, yeah. Because Ryan Pinkston's not going to the theater.
No, I was going to say. Because that mid 2000s period, that mid to late 2000s, you had a lot of these direct to video ones that were these sort of romp comedy kind of things, and you get some names in them.
Yeah, you got Kate Mara, you got Terry Polo, you got Craig Kilborn. I think there's one more person in it. I mean,
it's got I just saw what you mentioned Carmen Lake, but I thought I just saw the other name that you're talking about, but now I'm losing it. So yeah,
that's okay. You're not missing much from this movie because well, it came out in 2006, 2007 because there was a trailer for Mr. Woodcock. Remember that movie? Has Billy Bob. Remember when Billy Bob Thornton did all these like comedies where he's like a mean jerk?
Right.
It's like, so because you had Bad Santa, which is like the pinnacle one.
Yeah.
Then you had School for Scoundrels, and then you had Mr. Woodcock.
Yeah.
It's like you made the same movie 3 times.
Right.
It's like mean jerk guy does mean jerk things to people. Usually John Heater. So it's like so it's like. I mean, that's all we had, I guess. But
it's amazing how these actors find these niches, right? Like, I mean, we're talking about like how Bruce Dern seems to have this niche now where he's just like a boss that gives people a hard time, in all these movies that we've been watching. But these actors find these niches, especially like with like big budget. I mean, Liam Neeson is probably the best example of that. I mean, how does he find a niche as an action star?
Because Taken really is a really good movie. I mean, like, he's lucky to have Taken in a way because everything else, for the most part, except for Walk Among the Tombstones, has been a bit mediocre. Did you see the new one? Or I didn't see it yet, but it's called Retribution.
No, I saw ads for it. I haven't seen it.
So I think he's getting close to being on Zoom or something because now he's just in a car. Like, I'm in a car the whole time, Glenor. It's like, I don't know who you are. I don't know what car. No, it's like, and it's just called Retribution. A cool title, but
right.
It's like, and also he's a commuter, so it's like I'm the commuter. It's like, and what's the other one he did? I'm running all night.
Right. Yeah. So like something all night. Yeah, because it was.
Yeah, Run All Night, which I bought a copy for like $1.
Is that Ed Harris? I think, right?
Yeah, I remember watching. I remember it's like, well, I think it's kind of a movie on a screen a little bit. Yeah. Same with Cold Pursuit, which is a disappointment because the movie was really called Hard Powder. Awesome title.
Right.
Instead of like him he was a snowplow guy.
Yeah.
It's done this weird dark comedy vein that really doesn't know favors.
Right.
So it's like, it's not cool. It's like, I'm a snowplow driver. It's like, but SEC has another movie coming out, I think. Besides Retribution, which I'm gonna have to watch probably. But
yeah.
See, because remember when Liam Neeson almost got canceled for saying he's gonna beat up a fake black guy in Ireland or something? Remember that?
No,
like, remember the story? No. So this is during the promotion of Cold Pursuit. He's like, well, revenge. It's very, you gotta be careful about revenge. Because a long time ago, I had a revenge fantasy. I was gonna beat up this black guy of a kosh. It's like a kosh is what like a bat or something, right? Because that made me do more Liam Neeson, like a kosh. It's like, and the thing is that it's so great because he almost got canceled for that.
Yeah.
And then, but I think this is his punishment. His punishment is that you can make your movies, but they're not going to do well. They're going to be mediocre. You can still go to the theater, but they're not going to be very good. So that's his punishment. So it's like, so he's still in this punishment phase. He's still in jail. You can still make your movies, but they all have to be mediocre.
Right.
Because I think, because there's like, this is like number 6 or 7. They're like, this is not good. Because there's The Marksman. Did you see that one?
I haven't seen
Blacklight.
Ones.
That's the one I think. It's funny.
Yeah, I haven't seen these. I just see the ads for them. And I'm like, okay, what is
another one?
More Neeson. Yeah, more Neeson.
Because he doesn't care. I think he doesn't care.
Yeah, that could be.
Give me $10 million and I'll do my Liam Neeson voice.
Right.
It's like, and Blacklight's the funniest one because Aidan Quinn is in it. He's the villain. He looks just like Glenn Beck, and it's like, so figure that. So it's Liam Neeson versus Glenn Beck.
Yeah. I love the idea. I mean, Aidan Quinn, I'm not surprised because I love the idea of Aidan Quinn, and I do kind of see that as a possibility that he would do that. So that
it's so
Aidan
funny.
Quinn
Blacklight's funny. Like having so bad.
Yeah.
Because there's a fake AOC character instead of like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. It's like, it's like AOC. So it's like whatever you can mix up with those names.
But it's like, right.
It's like Alana or Ocasio Mortez. It's like, it's in the beginning. It's so funny. And the movie's a complete mess because you don't care at all.
Right.
But I'm going to have to watch Retribution eventually. You're wasting a great title on Liam Neeson in a car.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he gets something else. Let me look it up. We should probably wrap up. But
the Neeson action, it's sort of like the natural progression of this whole like quick edits thing that was used in part to like, hide the fact that Seagal was using doubles a lot, or also to be able to make like someone like a Matt Damon into an action star. Like that quick edit thing to make it look like these people were actually like really great actioners. The natural conclusion was to get an older guy like Neeson and put him in the movie. Yeah,
because he pulls off, because you know why? Because he gets this freaking pass because his voice is so awesome.
Right.
So it's like, I watched Memory last year. Remember that one? So he's like, I have no memory. It's like, and then this other one, Marlowe. Remember, I'm Philip Marlowe. It's like, I'm not a good movie. It's like, if you've seen it, it's like, talking about a movie on a screen.
Yeah. I haven't seen. I mean, I see them like the
Redbox.
I'll see them like they'll be advertised oh, there's a new Liam Neeson movie that's this or that. But yeah, I mean, he's pumping out a ton of stuff. I never realized that. Like, Memory I hadn't heard of. Memory.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think I knew of The Marksman and I knew of Ice Road, but I didn't know Blacklight Memory.
What about Honest Thief? Because that's one of his weakest ones too. It's like, I'm an honest thief.
Yeah, no idea
I'm the
about some of these.
Bandit. It's like, that's the name, the In-N-Out Bandit with the In-N-Out Burger.
Right.
He was like, that's an embarrassing name. That's what he says. It's like,
that one's on Prime apparently. In-N-Out Bandit.
Yeah, right. The Tubi.
Right.
That'd be great if Liam Neeson made movies for Tubi. I mean, we're getting close. I mean, like,
yeah.
It's like, he's Judd Nelson making movies for Tubi. Liam Neeson's on his way there.
He's got to be heading there. Yeah, he's got to be in that ballpark.
I'm surprised Dolph Lundgren's not doing it. Like, I'm not on Tubi yet.
I mean, this movie you were talking about, the Honest Thief one, it grossed $14 million in Canada, right? US and Canada. It had a $31 million gross worldwide. So it had a budget of $30 million. It just made its budget back worldwide. But then if you put in the streaming stuff, I wonder if it's because that's the key, right? A movie's got to make 3 times its budget back. The fact that the movie made that much. Oh, I didn't realize this. It filmed in Worcester, Massachusetts. That's
It just, if you watch the movie, which I think is very, very mediocre. I mean, like, it took me an extra day to finish it. Like, wow, this is really mediocre.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Does he read these? Like, I don't care anymore. It's just like that's what I'm thinking when we watch all those. I'm caught up on my Neeson movie, except for Retribution.
Yeah.
Is that available right now? Let me see. No, I'm not paying it.
Looking at the casts in this movie too, like I'm looking at it, like I see names I recognize, like Kate Walsh, but then Robert Patrick, obviously, but then it says Devon Deep as cute nurse. It's like
their best work.
Exactly. I should click on her and see if she has like one of those. You know how like a lot of times, like when you watch these lower budget movies, the actors are actors. They have like a demo reel. Yeah, she does have a demo reel. I haven't seen it. I wonder if she has in her demo reel if she has cute nurse.
He probably says that like a kind of a crudely drawn, like kind of written thing on her demo reel. Cute nurse, honest thief. It's like
it's her. Oh, does she have music coming out? She's put out music as well. So she's got she's got some music videos listed as well.
This is more interesting than Honest Thief and Invincible. So it's like talking about cute nurse and Honest Thief. See, no one talks about it. That's original content. Right. But I should probably let you go in a minute because I will say that we'll decide what we're watching next.
We'll figure that out. Yeah, we'll figure that out for sure. But I think wrapping up, I think the interesting thing is that we've got. Detective Night Redemption was better than we were expecting.
Yeah, that was a big surprise.
That one hit it out of the park. I think Invincible does not have that kind of fun quality that Phoenix had. And I think when you're looking at a movie that you're spending an hour and a half with, and you're looking for a time, something that you can kill time with. It's interesting. I think Invincible on some levels was better in the sense it was better shot, right? Like that what chaos brings a quality. Yeah. But from a story standpoint and a script standpoint, it has the same issues that Phoenix has, only it doesn't have the. I don't know. It's like it's like it's the cinematography almost betrays the script, I guess, in a way. I don't know how to say it. It could have
been a lot better. I mean, it's just poorly written, unfortunately. But I mean, well, hopefully the next Zirilli we watch is good. You need to watch Renegades. I'll get to it.
You'd like that one. You'd really like that one. That one's a good one. And of course, that one wasn't written by him. That was so that was like the
everybody.
Yeah, he wrote it, and that was like it was in conjunction with Shogun Films production. So it was like kind of like a collaboration between those two. And so you got the really great actors involved with it, and of course Zirilli brought some names with himself, like Pare, Danny Trejo, and so that was really cool too.
He can get those right away, so it's which is good. I like those two people, except for Trejo in that Cage of Glory movie.
Right, exactly.
He really phoned that in. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but Zirilli has names that he can bring, which is always good, and so. Renegades I think is probably out of Zirilli's recent stuff. I think Acceleration is better than this one in Phoenix as well.
I still need to watch that too. Probably not gonna get to it until the new year, probably.
Yeah, it's a little bit better, but I think it's interesting. Invincible, it's almost like a better shot movie than Phoenix, but the shortcomings.
It's not good, unfortunately. There's too many flaws.
Yeah, Phoenix is almost like all of the flaws come together to make this really fun thing that's like. Yeah. It's almost like if Amir Sharvin, right? Like he makes,
that's a good point. There's something off about Phoenix, and I think Brett loved Phoenix so much. We might watch it again with some other friends too, because we watched it with two other people. We might watch it again, and in the new year because I just watched it. But
it's a movie it's a modern movie along the lines of like a samurai cop, and
I think it's this close. I think it is close. I mean.
Yeah,
there's something off about it and makes it so much entertaining. That's why Phoenix is great. I mean,
right
twice.
It would be like if Amir Sharma made Samurai Cop, and then when he goes to make something like I don't know, like Young Rebels or something, and he gets like this amazing, like he gets a really fantastic director of photography to shoot the movie, right? And so suddenly it's like this really like this high quality shooting style, but the rest of it is still Amir Sharma.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, right. Perfect description.
That's kind of like what this would. So it's a fascinating movie. I think for people who like Chaos, as just him in general. If you just like his movies and that kind of thing.
We all love Ballistic X versus Sever. I mean,
right. Yeah, I think if you're a fan of his stuff, you might actually like just watching this just to see his cinematography, because that part of it is really good. So
if you can suffer through the rest, go right ahead.
Right, exactly. I mean, keep in mind I mean, you're gonna, like you said, the script is repetitive, but it's also like people say things like they add in like the little pieces of like oh or hey or like those kinds of things that like they're natural when you're writing them. Because as you're writing, you kind of want these little segues, but when the people are actually delivering the lines, they sound off. Just be like,
"Hey," sound off.
Right?
Yeah. So that was a huge problem for me, and it's like, it's like, oh well, I guess it's a dud, but that's okay. Well, hopefully the next one will be better. And I will say that before we wrap up, thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, we got to do some plugs right as we wrap up.
Right, the plug goes. We got ComeuppанceReviews.net is the website. And it's on Facebook under that website name, and then Comeuppance Reviews the podcast, which you can get on any podcatcher. Yeah. And then Ty Comeuppance on Twitter or X or whatever. And then what's the other thing? Oh, Ty Action Rocks is Instagram. I posted a tweetster as promised. The Dark Dancer. Did you see that? I mean,
I did. Yes, I get that. Yeah. I mean,
it's not. I'm not gonna get banned for that. Just a bunch of hands and a face. Just like you gotta be careful these days.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like when you're posting those VHS tapes, is that if those erotic thriller ones, I guess if they get too racy, right? Or like I think you were talking about, because like if the movies sometimes have like Nazi symbols, stuff like that, because it's like the Nazis are bad guys in the movie. The algorithm might get you on that, but the movie itself, I don't think would get. And that's the thing, is I think if the algorithm gets a post banned, I don't know how you refute that, right? Like how do you?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very careful on rock thrillers. I do have a movie called Inside the Third Reich as Rutger Hauer. Yeah, and it's Rutger Hauer and like a guy who plays Hitler on the cover. He's like Hitler has like his arms crossed, like Right. It's like uh-oh. As I've been holding on to, maybe I'll post it tomorrow. I don't know, but or Monday. And we'll see.
The thing is, right, is that like the movie, like it's the Nazis are bad guys in it, and that's like, so it's not like propaganda or something. But I think you're right, like with the algorithms, how they try to catch these things, you don't know if like, well, it's just looking for any swastikas and it's going to, I mean, true. So you could also be banned for doing like, Indian, meditate or Indian spirituality, it's got because the swastika was originally a symbol of like certain Indian religions, and I think certain like Buddhist faith, thing like that. So like you could also be posting like meditations or something like that and have the symbol.
I mean, I'm just posting my VHS collection,
Right,
exactly. There's no weird things involved. There's no weird associations, Just like, no, I'm just posting my tapes. This one has Rutger Hauer and it has Hitler. But, okay.
Exactly. Well, because I think you're right to be cautious in that sense of like, hey, I'm just posting my videos here. It's like I don't need that kind of heat, or whatever.
Look at my other posts. One of them is
exactly.
Air Strike. It has Robert Russler, whatever it's called. I
Yeah.
just posted that. I just posted. I'm gonna post house guests soon.
Oh,
maybe
nice.
I'll do Inside the Third Reich, and maybe I'll do house guests. We'll see.
completely
different movies. Or are they?
Is that with Sinbad?
Sinbad, yeah.
The VHS of House Guests. That is going to be. Yeah, that's
Maybe I'll post
amazing.
that as a weekend one because I feel that's a good weekend one. People want to see Sinbad on the weekends. And I picked up another Sinbad. I forget the title. Cincinnati Kid or something.
Right. Yeah.
I'm screwing that up, but it's like
no. I mean, the idea of Sinbad. I mean, we're wrapping up here. Maybe we can save this for another podcast episode because you could do a good 15-minute conversation on just the concept of Sinbad in the 90s. He was fantastic. I remember he had the show Vibe, which was, speaking of UPN, right? It was the UPN late night talk show was him doing the Vibe magazine.
He's fun. He's fun to watch. He has a good energy to him.
He has
it, as I say. I was looking about First Kid. Now, First Kid's a weird movie.
Right.
People haven't seen that in a while. People get shot in it. It's not killed, but pretty close.
Yeah.
It's this is one of the hardest PG. This is an example of a hard PG.
Right.
First Kid.
Yeah.
If you want look for one, that is a good example because it's this is. What the heck is going on? There's an evil, Secret Service agent at the end. You'll see. Actually, it's a good movie.
Yeah, I remember.
First Kid.
Yeah, there were a lot of those PGs. The one that I can't think of the name of it now. Is the John Candy one where he played a private detective.
Harry Crumb?
Harry Crumb, yes. Yeah. Where that one is there's a kidnapped victim and she's in a jail cell and they're the bad guys are zapping the bars that she's in and stuff like that. It was kind of a scary. I think that was a PG.
Oh, I know it. I know the ultimate hard PG. Not besides First Kid. I Love Trouble.
Oh yes. Oh, and actually, Harry Crumb was PG-13, so that was wrong.
No, it's PG-13 because I thought it was PG.
Harry Crumb was PG. Maybe it was
Harry Crumb was PG. Okay.
PG-13. Yeah, Harry Crumb was PG-13.
Trouble, there's 15, 25 murders in it. It's there's more kills in it than a Rambo movie. It's just let's forget how violent I Love Trouble is.
Yeah, you're right. That one is a legit PG. That is a legit PG
people
film.
Are literally they die in terrible ways and people get murdered. There's a people get shot in the head. They show the bullet hole, and it's this is PG. This is a hard PG. Wow, I thought it was rated R.
I wonder if it's because it has Sal Rubinek and you can't do.
Yes.
Yeah, or Robert Loggia. You got to love but Sal Rubinek, right? You can't make a movie with Sal Rubinek and not have it be PG. I guess he's too fun-loving and great.
He was great in True Romance as Lee Donowitz, which I cannot say his quote, but it's a classic. So it's just look up Lee Donowitz True Romance classic.
Yeah. Eugene Levy was it as well. Yeah, we could go on hard PGs.
We'll talk about Sal Rubinek
and Sinbad. Yeah. Once we get into Sal Rubinek, the podcast is right. You've got to run. It's time to wrap it up.
Yeah, run to the border. Exactly. Well, thanks for having me on.
Yes, thanks for coming on. I can't believe it. Again, it's been a year since we started doing these Willis films, and kind of interesting that we had a Willis film that we thought was going to be a dud that actually wasn't so bad. So maybe it was a good way to go out. To kind of have it be a year episode. So.
Excellent. But thanks again, and I guess I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Everybody, thank you for listening, and we'll talk soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye.